Chapter 620. All the Demon Clan experts raised their heads to look. Not long after, the corpse of a flood dragon fell through the crack in the mystic realm. After a short silence, it was the Demon Clan's monstrous anger. Boom! A tyrannical and terrifying aura erupted. All the Demon Clan experts looked at the corpse of the flood dragon, their eyes filled with anger. Provocation. Blatant provocation. The Demon Clan had dominated the Western state for hundreds of thousands of years. When had any race dared to provoke them like this? The Black Rock Condor Clan's actions. It directly infuriated the Demon Clan experts. This was not just a matter of the dragons, but also a matter of the entire Demon Clan. Their dignity and face were trampled. Who would be able to endure it? Of course, the experts of the Flood Dragon Clan were even more furious. Another powerful being of the Flood Dragon Clan had fallen. Originally, there were quite a number of dragons, but now that they had fallen one after another, the number of dragons in the clan had reached a point of scarcity. In the dragon transformation pool, the Demon Emperor was also furious. From today onwards, send troops to the Black Rock Condor Clan. Being trampled on like this, even if the Demon Clan was heavily injured, they could not remain silent. If they could swallow their anger like this, the other races who were watching would also step on them. In that case, the Demon Clan would really decline. So, in the face of the Black Rock Condor Clan's provocation, the Demon Clan had to fight. Even if they could not destroy the Black Rock Condor Clan, they had to at least show a tough attitude to let the other races know that the Demon Clan was not to be bullied by anyone. After receiving the Demon Emperor's order, the Demon Clan experts immediately moved out together, heading towards the Black Rock Condor Clan. In the dragon transformation pool, the Demon Emperor's eyes were frighteningly cold. He was the strongest of the Demon Clan, and also the strongest of the dragons. Now that the dragons had suffered heavy losses, their strength would definitely plummet for a period of time. In addition, he was heavily injured. He was afraid that the Demon Clan would be in turmoil. For this, the Demon Emperor would definitely not allow it. Humans, Black Rock Condor Clan. The day Ben Huang becomes an immortal will be the day your clans are destroyed. The killing intent in the true dragon's heart accumulated, shaking the void violently. As for the Demon Clan experts attacking the Black Rock Condor Clan, the Demon Emperor did not make a move. Xia Yi's strength was too terrifying. If not for the Heavenly Demon Temple, he would have died long ago. Even if he managed to survive, the injuries on his body were not light. He wanted to recover. This was not an easy task. He thought of Xia Yi. The Demon Emperor could not help but reveal an almost undetectable fear in his eyes. To tell the truth, this was also his first time fighting a true immortal expert. Originally, the Demon Emperor had always thought that even if he was not as strong as a true immortal, he was not too far off. Until Xia Yi appeared. Only then did he come to his senses. It turned out that the difference between true immortals and those below true immortals could be so great. The so-called supreme expert. In front of an expert of this level, he was merely an ant-like figure. The Demon Emperor was both shocked and furious, but he also yearned to become a true immortal. If he could have that kind of power, the four great continents, who could contend against him? True immortal. The Demon Emperor closed his eyes again, and then he dove into the bottom of the dragon transformation pool. The current him. It was still too early to think about becoming a true immortal. At least, he had to wait until his injuries were completely healed before he could consider other things. Or else, no matter how much he thought about it, it was useless. However, the Demon Emperor also had a great sense of urgency in his heart. Judging from the current situation, whoever could become an immortal first would have the absolute advantage. The Demon Clan was now heavily injured. If an enemy clan gave birth to a true immortal, it would be a fatal blow to the Demon Clan. Therefore, in the Demon Emperor's opinion, the Demon Clan had to be the first to give birth to a true immortal in order to reverse the current situation. At the bottom of the dragon transformation pool, a golden ball was lying there quietly. The ball was 100 feet in size. There was a tiny true dragon moving about inside. Waves of dragon roars whistled out from within, causing the water of the dragon transformation pool to tremble slightly. However, compared to the Demon Emperor's 100,000 feet body, The ball was really too small. I originally didn't intend to use you, but now it seems that I have no choice. Looking at the ball, the demon emperor's eyes were also filled with struggle. In the ancient times, the dragon transformation pool was shattered, but the most essential part of it was preserved. It was precisely because of this that the dragon transformation pool still had the effect of shedding the body of a flood dragon and transforming into a true dragon. The ball in front of him. It was a dragon pearl that the ancient dragon Jinxian condensed with his own bloodline as the foundation when he was on his deathbed. And this dragon pearl, it was the supreme treasure that supported the entire dragon transformation pool. As the bloodline condensation of a true immortal, the dragon pearl was not only the supreme treasure of the dragon transformation pool, but it was also a rare supreme treasure for any cultivator and living being. Similarly, if there was no dragon pearl, then the dragon transformation pool would be completely wasted. He only hesitated for a moment. The demon emperor made up his mind and opened his mouth to swallow the dragon pearl. Now that the demon clan was about to die, what was the point of thinking so much? If the demon clan was gone, then if he left the dragon transformation pool, would he be giving it to other clans? Rather than that, it was better to swallow the dragon pearl and use the power inside to help him recover from his injuries. At most, when I am about to die, I will condense another dragon pearl and restore the dragon transformation pool. With this thought in mind, the demon emperor closed his eyes and refined the dragon pearl. At the same time, the dragon pearl disappeared. The entire dragon transformation pool shook violently. Such a scene. It also attracted the attention of some experts. However, in the end, they attributed it to the demon emperor healing his injuries inside, so they did not investigate anything. On the other side, what happened to the demon clan also spread to the two clans. Nine-headed secret realm. The Black Rock Condor clan killed a mighty figure of the dragons and threw the corpse in the demon clan's secret realm. What do you think about this matter? The one who spoke. It was an 8-headed giant dog that was crawling in the main hall. 7 of its heads had their eyes closed, and only 1 of its heads had its eyes open. The voice also came from it. Dog Emperor, the current strongest of the 9-headed dog clan. Hearing that, Zhu Qian said coldly, the Black Emperor had definitely secretly sided with the Demon Clan. He did this because he saw that the Demon Clan was weak and wanted to take this opportunity to cut ties with the Demon Clan. Our clan is ashamed to be associated with such a fence-sitter. He still remembered that the Black Emperor had intercepted him. At that time, the Black Emperor. But he really wanted to kill him. If not for the fact that he was a 10th level celestial being expert and had Kongyi, a peak 9th level celestial being teammate, he might have been seriously injured by the other party. So, no matter what the Black Rock Condor clan did, Zhu Qian had already hated the Black Emperor his whole life. Kongyi also nodded and said, there is indeed no need for us to join forces with such a fence-sitter like the Black Rock Condor clan. If our clan is weak, they might turn their spear against us again. In my opinion, we might as well let the two clans kill each other. It's best to send a message to the subduing dragons to prevent them from interfering. If the Demon Clan wanted to attack the Black Rock Condor clan, then let them fight. In Kong Ye's opinion, fighting to the death had nothing to do with them. If the two clans really suffered heavy losses, perhaps the 9-headed dog clan could take this opportunity to take advantage of the situation. The Dog Emperor said indifferently, the Black Emperor is narrow-minded and short-sighted. If such an existence were to betray us, he would be more ruthless than other existences. His current actions have completely offended the Demon Clan. Since the elders have the same opinion, our clan will wait and see. Also, if the Black Emperor's emissary comes, kill him as well. After saying that, Zhu Qian and the other elders trembled. They looked at the Dog Emperor with eyes full of shock. Kill. This was completely falling out with the Black Rock Condor clan. No, it was not as simple as falling out. Perhaps the Dog Emperor wanted to take this opportunity to completely destroy the Black Rock Condor clan. As expected, just as Zhu Qian and the others were shocked, the Dog Emperor said indifferently, also, our clan will contact the subduing dragons. If the Demon Clan cannot destroy the Black Rock Condor clan, we will help the Demon Clan. Since they have betrayed us, then they have betrayed us. Going back and forth will only lead to death. Yes, Zhu Qian and the other elders lowered their heads and accepted the order. They could see that the Dog Emperor really wanted the Black Emperor's life. With that thought in mind, they were a little emotional. To be honest, all these years, they had some friction with the Black Rock Condor clan. However, because of the threat of the Demon Clan, they could not fall out with them so easily. Therefore, even if there was friction, it was basically suppressed. However, suppressing it did not mean that these conflicts would be forgotten. On the contrary, as time passed, this conflict also accumulated more and more. Now the Dog Emperor wanted. He wanted to take this opportunity to completely resolve this conflict. Anyway, the Demon Clan was already crippled. Then, there was no need for the Black Rock Condor clan to exist. The remaining two clans were completely enough to deal with the Demon Clan. Attack the Black Rock Condor clan. In Yuan sect, Qin Shujian had just relaxed for a while when he immediately received a message from Yuan cabinet. To be honest, when he received this news, he was also stunned for a moment. Regarding the Black Rock Condor clan, Qin Shujian knew a little about them. The last time when he was forging, the Nine-Headed Hound clan seemed to want to help but was stopped by the Black Emperor. Until then, he remembered them. All along, Qin Shujian thought that the Black Rock Condor clan had secretly colluded with the Demon Clan. He did not expect that the friendship boat between the two parties would capsize just like that. TSK, this is really unexpected. Qin Shujian recalled the information in his mind, and his lips curled into a cold smile. What was going on? Actually, it was not complicated at all. As long as he thought about it, he could more or less figure out the grievances between the two clans. It was nothing more than the Black Emperor seeing that the Demon Clan was crippled and wanted to leave this big ship that had been pierced with countless holes and return to the side of the allies on the surface. However, what surprised Qin Shujian was that the Black Emperor would be so ruthless. Not only did he kill the Almighty of the Demon Clan, but he also publicly threw the corpse in their home. Such an approach, not to mention the Demon Clan, any other clan would not be able to tolerate it. It was fine to slap the face. However, such an approach was no longer a simple slap in the face. It was forcefully pasting a pile of feces on the Demon Clan's face. To this, if the Demon Clan did not attack the Black Rock Condor clan, Qin Shujian would have to admire the other party's tolerance. He figured out the key points. Qin Shujian fell into deep thought. The Demon Clan will definitely fight. After all, the grievances between the two clans have been accumulating for a long time. Only blood can wash away these things. As for the Black Rock Condor clan, they will also have to be destroyed. This kind of fence-sitter who bullies the weak and fears the strong might target the human clan at some point in time. Moreover, just as Senior Xiaoyi said, other than the Eldar, which clan has not been stained with the blood of the human clan? All clans had been stained with the blood of the human clan. The human clan had also been stained with the blood of all clans. In addition, the Black Rock Condor clan had been secretly opposing the human clan. In that case, it was only natural that the human clan wanted to destroy the Black Rock Condor clan. I can ignore what happened hundreds of thousands of years ago, but that doesn't mean that this blood feud doesn't exist. I'm only the emperor of the human clan. I don't need to consider what's right and wrong from the standpoint of other clans. I only know that it's your fault that you've been stained with the blood of the human clan. Qin Shujian muttered softly, his eyes filled with killing intent. It was just as he had said. He could ignore what happened hundreds of thousands of years ago, but it was still reasonable to settle old scores. Taking a step back, he could ignore the past grudges, but from the moment the human clan walked out of the eastern continent, all the clans that attacked the human clan were absolute enemies. Enemies. Qin Shujian would not be merciful. I thought I could rest for a few days, but it seems like I won't have the chance. I'll go over and take a look. If the Demon Clan can't destroy the Black Rock Condor clan, I can help. Thinking of this, he immediately stood up and left the courtyard. The Black Rock Mystic Realm. After killing the Flood Dragon, the Black Emperor's expression did not relax at all, because he had received a piece of news. The Demon Clan was preparing to attack the Black Rock Condor clan. It could be said that the Black Emperor did not expect the Demon Clan to be so unyielding. They still wanted to send experts to attack even though they were heavily injured. It was just the death of an almighty. What was the big deal? Putting himself in their shoes, if he was the demon emperor, he would definitely not be as impulsive as the other party. However, the Black Emperor was not afraid. He admitted that he was no match for the Demon Clan at their peak. However, the Demon Clan was heavily injured now. In his opinion, the threat was greatly reduced. Immediately send a message to the Nine-Headed Hound Clan and the Subduing Dragons. Tell them that the Demon Clan is attacking. Send experts over to cooperate with our clan and kill all the Demon Clan here. The Black Emperor waved his hand and gave the order confidently. Hearing this, the many elders below also bowed and accepted the order. In addition, the clansmen in the territory will temporarily enter the secret realm to hide. They will leave after the battle is over to avoid unnecessary losses. Yes, my emperor. Go. The Black Emperor nodded slightly and then looked up at the sky of the secret realm. Over there, he had already sensed many powerful auras approaching. To this, the Black Emperor smiled proudly. The experts of the Demon Clan are about to arrive. It's a good time for Bin Huang to go back and see how many tricks the Demon Clan has up their sleeves. As soon as he finished, he took a step forward and left the Black Rock secret realm. In the outside world, following the Black Emperor's order, all the cultivators of the Black Rock Condor Clan gathered towards the secret realm. At this moment, more than 10 auras above the 7th level of the celestial being were already in the territory of the Black Rock Condor Clan. Among them, there were 2 auras. They were extremely powerful and had already reached the level of the emperors of some small clans. All the auras combined together. It was vast and mighty for 100,000 miles. All the other cultivators of the Black Rock Condor Clan had a drastic change in expression at this moment. They looked up at the sky that had already become unclear due to the pressure of the aura. Every race had their own cities. Although this was the territory of the Black Rock Condor Clan, in reality, there were also cultivators of other clans here. The Demon Clan is attacking the Black Rock Condor Clan. What exactly happened? The cultivators of the other clans were both shocked and confused. Everything was fine. Why would the Demon Clan attack the Black Rock Condor Clan? Especially now that the Demon Clan was severely injured, there was no reason. Just as the others were puzzled, the Black Emperor had already appeared in everyone's sight. Immediately after, 6 or 7 almighty experts of the Black Rock Condor Clan walked out and stood behind the Black Emperor. Is the Demon Clan going to war with our Black Rock Condor Clan? The Black Emperor's expression was indifferent as he looked at the group of demons in front of him. His heart sank slightly. The strength of the Demon Clan. They were even stronger than he had imagined. Even at this level, they could still bring out more than 10 almighty experts. Moreover, there were also 2 experts at the 10th level of the Heaven-Human realm. However, this was the territory of his own clan. Unless it was an expert at the level of the Demon Emperor, the Black Emperor was not afraid of anyone. The Black Rock Condor Clan dared to kill the almighty of the Demon Clan. They should have expected such an outcome. One of the experts at the 10th level of the Heaven-Human realm said with a cold expression, "Today, either the Black Rock Condor Clan swears the rule and completely submits to the Demon Clan, or the Black Rock Condor Clan will be destroyed. Black Emperor, you should choose one." Haha, what a joke. What a joke. The Black Emperor looked up to the sky and laughed as if he had heard something funny. In the void, his laughter echoed in the air. All the Demon Clan experts were silent and only stared at each other coldly. After laughing, the Black Emperor's expression was cold. Bin Huang has never submitted to the Demon Clan. Today, if the Demon Clan wants to fight, Bin Huang will fight with you. I'm just afraid that the Demon Clan can't afford to fight. What a joke. He was the Black Emperor. Who was he afraid of? According to his estimation. Now, the envoys of the Black Rock Condor Clan should be arriving at the Nine-Headed Hound Clan and the Earthbound Dragons. Not long after, the experts of the 2 clans would come to help. At that time, with the combined strength of the 3 clans, it would be easy to destroy the almighty of the Demon Clan in front of them. The only problem was, the Black Rock Condor Clan needed to hold on for a while. To this, the Black Emperor expressed that there was no pressure. Hearing this, the almighty of the Demon Clan was instantly furious. Immediately after, the two leading experts at the 10th level of the heaven-human realm immediately attacked the Black Emperor. Boom! One of the Almighty revealed his true form. It was a 10,000 feet tall heaven-reaching ape. With a punch, it shattered the void and charged toward the Black Emperor. This was a great sage of the demon clan. Only those at the 10th level of the heaven-human realm could be called Great Sage. There were only two great sages in the demon clan. One was the Heaven Saint in front of them. The other was the Thunder Saint. Boom! Endless thunder tore the sky and earth apart. A terrifying giant beast stepped on the Thunder Lake and had already joined forces with the Heaven Saint to attack the Black Emperor. The two great sages of the demon clan at the 10th level of the heaven-human realm attacked. Their power was earth-shattering. Good timing. The Black Emperor was not afraid at all. In the next instant, he revealed his true form and charged toward the two demon clan great sages. Boom! A terrifying power spread out. The power shook the void for 10,000 miles and shattered it. On the other side, the other Almighty of the demon clan had already made their move. On the Black Rock Condor clan side, several almighty figures with solemn expressions also went up to meet them. A great battle. It erupted in an instant. This time, to destroy the Black Rock Condor clan, the demon clan could be said to have mobilized most of their forces. 13 demon saints. 2 great sages. If it were the weaker clans here, they could easily crush them. Even if it was the Black Rock Condor clan, it would not be easy to fight against them. Boom! Boom! In the sky, 3 terrifying figures were fighting crazily. The Black Emperor was fighting 1 against 2, completely suppressing the Heaven Saint and the Thunder Saint. The 2 great sages at the 10th level of the heaven-human realm were powerful. However, the Black Emperor was a Nirvana realm expert, and his strength was extraordinary. Bang! The iron wings shattered the void. Countless black energy turned into feathers and completely swallowed the Heaven Saint. At the same time, the Thunder Saint stepped on the lightning lake. The river of laws surged, and endless lightning power covered the Black Emperor. Such a top expert had made his move. Every moment was enough to determine life and death. However, although the lightning power was powerful, it could be destroyed in an instant in front of the Black Emperor. The two of you are no match for Binhuang. When the experts of the 9-headed Hound clan and the Earthbound dragons arrive, it will be the time of your death. The Black Emperor sneered. He was not afraid of the demon clan at all. So what if there were 2 great sages? Even if the demon emperor came personally, the Black Emperor was not afraid. The Black Rock Condor clan almighty figures below were having a hard time holding on. However, they were almighty experts after all. Unless they had overwhelming strength, it would not be so easy to determine the winner in a short time. Therefore, the Black Emperor was not worried at all. According to his estimation, the experts of the 2 clans should be on their way here. However, their clans were far away from each other. Even if an almighty expert wanted to rush over, it should take some time. The Black Rock Condor clan will be destroyed without a doubt. The Heaven Saint roared. At this moment, a hall with a broken corner shattered the void. It was as if it was suppressing the world. A terrifying power instantly bombarded down. Heavenly Demon Temple. The Black Emperor's expression changed drastically. How could he not know Zhu Bing and the Heavenly Demon Temple? However, the Heavenly Demon Temple had been damaged a few days ago. At this time, the Demon Clan should not act rashly. The Black Emperor did not expect that. The Demon Clan would be so ruthless as to take out the Heavenly Demon Temple. After the shock, the Black Emperor sneered again. So what if it's Zhu Bing? How much power can you unleash from Zhu Bing? As soon as he finished speaking, the destiny of the Black Rock Condor clan had already been mobilized and gathered on his body. At that moment, the Black Emperor's aura surged. Although he said that he was disdainful of Zhu Bing, he was actually quite solemn, borrowing the destiny to fight against the enemy. This proved that the Black Emperor did not dare to easily go against the Heavenly Demon Temple, especially the Heavenly Demon Temple that was jointly activated by 2 great sages of the Demon Clan. Boom! The Heavenly Demon Temple suppression fell. The long river of laws on the Black Emperor's body surged and collided with it. There was an explosion between heaven and earth. A terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions with the two of them as the epicenter. In the next second, the heavenly demon temple shook violently, and the long river of laws was also destroyed inch by inch. The heavenly saint's expression was solemn. He held the heavenly demon temple with one hand and suppressed the Black Emperor. At the same time, he clenched his other hand into a fist and attacked. On the other side, the thunderlock was the same. Boom, boom, boom. With the appearance of the heavenly demon temple, the battle became even more intense. The Black Emperor borrowed the destiny of the Black Rock Condor clan. In terms of strength, he was already close to the Demon Emperor at his peak. However, the Heavenly Saint and the Thunder Saint were not weak either. The two great sages joined forces and were not weaker than ordinary Nirvana plane cultivators. At this moment, with the Heavenly Demon Temple in their hands, their power was even more terrifying. The three of them fought. It became even more intense. Time passed. The Black Emperor's expression was also somewhat anxious. After such a long time, why hadn't the reinforcements of the two clans arrived yet? Could it be that the two clans had other experts stop them? That was possible. He quickly refuted it. It was already not easy for the Demon Clan to be able to take out more than 10 Almighties. They did not have the extra strength to stop the other two clans. Very soon, the Black Emperor thought of the vassal clans of the Demon Clan. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it made sense. Damn it, now that the Demon Clan is about to be crippled, you still want to be their dogs. What a bunch of trash. The Black Emperor was furious. When the Demon Clan was strong, it was fine if they bowed down to them. Now that the Demon Clan was about to be crippled, they still listened to the orders of the Demon Clan. Cursing was cursing. The Black Emperor was also a little anxious. There was no other way. He was a little surprised that the reinforcements of the two clans had not arrived. If things were to drag on like this, then he would be in trouble. The Black Emperor was not worried that the Black Rock Condor clan would be destroyed by the Demon Clan. He was only worried that his clan would suffer heavy losses. That would not be good. Hundreds of thousands of miles away, the experts of the Nine-Headed Hound clan and the earthly dragons gathered. The Dog Emperor, who had already transformed into a human, stood together with the Earth Emperor, who had also transformed into a human. Looking at the vast and mighty waves in front of them, their expressions remained calm. Does the Dog Emperor think that the Black Emperor can repel the attack of the Demon Clan? The Earth Emperor said indifferently. Hearing that, the Dog Emperor said, "The strength of the Black Emperor is not that simple, but this time the Demon Clan is really angry. Whether or not he can repel them is another matter. This time, he has lifted a rock and smashed his own foot. Ben Huang has already warned him not to be too half-hearted. Now that he has caused trouble, he can't blame anyone." The Earth Emperor shook his head. Although he felt some pity for the Black Emperor, he did not have any sympathy for him. Betraying the alliance. Then there was nothing to say. If every race could abandon the alliance at will, then what was the point of the alliance? If there was a betrayal, there would be a second betrayal. Such a race. It was better to destroy it than to keep it. Immediately, the Earth Emperor tilted his head and said, "I heard that the Nine-Headed Hound clan wanted to help the Human clan some time ago. Is the Dog Emperor planning to join forces with the Human clan? It doesn't matter which race we join forces with. What's important is what benefits we can get." The Dog Emperor glanced at him, then turned his gaze back to the battlefield. The foundation of the Human clan is not what you and I can imagine. Although it has been declining since the ancient times, the Human clan has been blessed by destiny for generations and has produced an endless stream of experts. For millions of years, there have been countless races that have declined and been destroyed. The races that are still alive today have preserved their strength since the ancient times when they were destroyed. In comparison, the Human clan should be the first race that, even if it declined, would not be destroyed so easily. The so-called 10,000 races. Until now, there were not many left. In the Dog Emperor's view, if the other races had declined like the Human clan, they would have been destroyed long ago. How could they have the chance to rise again? So he still had some admiration for the Human clan. Hearing that, the Earth Emperor smiled and said, "It seems that the Dog Emperor thinks highly of the Human clan. One more friend is better than one more enemy. We have enough to deal with the demon clan. If we offend the human clan, then there is no need. Moreover, the human clan's foundation is not simple. The human clan's true immortal a few days ago, the Earth Emperor should have seen it. I saw it. At the mention of Xia Yi, the Earth Emperor's face became dignified. Although he was a Nirvana realm expert, in front of that level of expert, he still felt as weak as an ant. Even the Demon Emperor seemed no different from a child in his hands. The four great continents. The true immortal had been extinct for 200,000 years. The Earth Emperor had always known the terror of a true immortal, but he had never really seen a true immortal in action. Until a few days ago, the human clan Xia Yi walked out of the void turbulence and fought a true immortal of the demon clan. That terrifying strength. How could the Earth Emperor forget it? Even Xia Yi's unparalleled demeanor was still deeply imprinted in his mind. The human clan has an immortal true immortal left behind. The demon clan also has a true immortal left behind. Perhaps the other races also have true immortals left behind. No one knows how much foundation these powerful races that have given birth to true immortals in the past have. Our two races may not seem weak now, but in fact, we are in a difficult situation. Compared to the other races, the human clan now needs the help of external forces. If we can lend a hand, not to mention other things, at least we can get some benefits, the Dog Emperor said calmly. At this level, doing things could no longer be done based on personal preference. Anything had to be looked at from the perspective of the race. Befriending the human clan. In the Dog Emperor's opinion, this was the best choice. In the three great continents, the weak forces were not worthy of the two races' attention. The powerful forces like the Blood Eldar of the God Clan were deeply rooted. Even if they got close, they would not gain anything. In comparison, the human clan had just left the East Continent and was surrounded by enemies. In addition, the human clan was also powerful with two supreme experts. Although there were other races targeting them, there was no risk of them being destroyed in a short period of time. In this way, the Dog Emperor naturally took a fancy to the human clan. Hearing this, the Earth Emperor fell into silence. He was also thinking about the gains and losses of this matter. Now the situation in the four great continents was getting more and more serious, and the races were constantly killing each other. These races had to band together for warmth. But so what if they banded together? Who knew when a true immortal would be born? When that time really came, a race that lacked a true immortal foundation was a big problem. Does the Dog Emperor think that the human clan has a second true immortal? The Earth Emperor asked the doubt in his heart. The human clan had a Xia Yi. Could there be another true immortal? The Dog Emperor said. The Earth Emperor's question stumped Bin Huang. It would be better for the Earth Emperor to ask the human clan personally. But the true immortal is the true foundation of these big races. I'm afraid they will not easily reveal it. After being rebutted, the Earth Emperor was not angry. He also knew how strange his question was. At this time, the Dog Emperor and the Earth Emperor both stopped talking at the same time and looked away to a certain direction. There, a man in a green robe had appeared out of nowhere. Green robe? To be honest, recently many experts in the four great continents were more sensitive to the green robe. When they saw the other party's appearance, their pupils shrank as well. The human clan's Qin Emperor. On the other side, Qin Shujian also saw the Dog Emperor and the Earth Emperor. The nine-headed dog clan, is there an expert of the Earth Dragons next to them? He did not know the Dog Emperor, but it did not prevent him from recognizing Zhu Chun and Kong Yi. As for the Earth Emperor and the other experts, their aura was incompatible with the Dog Emperor and the others. Naturally, they were not of the same race. Therefore, Qin Shujian easily associated them with the Earth Dragons. But what surprised him was that, now that the Black Rock Condor clan was still fighting, these two races, as allies, did not go to help. Instead, they were chatting and watching the battle. They were just short of eating melon seeds, peanuts, and fruits. This is, the boat of friendship capsized again? Or the Black Emperor, this traitor, has been kicked out of the team by his friends? A few possibilities flashed through Qin Shujian's mind. However, he was more inclined to the latter. From the current situation, The alliance of the three races did not know that it was as simple as a small conflict. Didn't you see that the Black Rock Condor clan had begun to lose people? No, it should be dead condors. In the end, the two races were still indifferent. If they did not want to sit and watch the Black Rock Condor clan be destroyed, then it did not make sense. He vaguely understood the thoughts of the two races. Qin Shujian did not go over to greet them. Although he did not get along with the Black Rock Condor clan, he did not have any friendship with the other two races. At this time, Qin Shujian was only here to destroy the Black Rock Condor clan. Originally, he thought that the two races would help and was already prepared to waste some time. But now, it seemed that he was thinking too much. At the same time, Qin Shujian also felt sad for the Black Emperor. It was too tragic. He was abandoned just like that. Then who did the other party offend the demon race for? It was a complete waste of his expression. In the territory of the Black Rock Condor clan, the battle had reached its climax. The two races had not sent any experts to help for a long time, causing the Black Rock Condor clan's almighties to begin to fall. At the same time, the Black Emperor and the two demon race great sages were also in an abyss of suffering. Boom! The heavenly demon temple suppressed him. The Black Emperor's body collapsed. However, an even more powerful force erupted from his body and forcefully sent the heavenly demon temple flying. Then, a pair of sharp claws tore through the void and directly pierced through the heavenly saint's chest. He activated the heavenly demon temple many times. The heavenly saint had already expended a lot of energy and did not have any extra strength to resist the attack. At the same time, countless lightning bolts struck from the Thunder Lake. The Black Emperor was caught off guard and was directly charred black. However, this kind of injury did not make the Black Emperor retreat. Instead, it made him even more furious. In the next moment, he crashed into the Thunder Lake. Boom! The Thunder Lake shattered. The Thunder Lake was sent flying by the collision and coughed up blood. At this moment, another Black Rock Condor clan almighty had fallen. Until now, 3 almighties had already fallen. Half of the 6 almighties were gone. And with the fall of the almighties, the Black Rock Condor clan's luck was also declining bit by bit. The Black Emperor looked at the tragic battle below and then glared hatefully at the 2 demon race great sages. He shouted angrily, "Retreat and guard the Black Rock mystic realm." As soon as he finished speaking, the long river of laws bombarded, blasting away all the almighties of the demon race. Then, the Black Emperor took the remaining 3 almighties and retreated into the mystic realm. In the next moment, the mystic realm was sealed and completely disappeared from the sight of the almighties of the demon race. P.S. If this continues, the overdue updates will be paid off very soon. Haha, I won't update in the wee hours of the morning. Don't stay up late. Chapter 621. He retreated. The Black Emperor retreated very straightforwardly. He originally wanted to appear more heroic and then join forces with his allies to deal a heavy blow to the Demon Clan. Unfortunately, the Demon Clan was not heavily injured, but he was the first to be heavily injured. After the battle, the Demon Clan did not lose a single almighty. The Black Rock Condor Clan had lost a total of 3 almighties. For ordinary races, the loss of 3 almighties, it was enough to make one's heart ache. What really made the Black Emperor angry was the loss of 3 almighties. As a result, the Black Rock Condor clan did not have enough powerhouses to suppress the providence, causing a lot of providence to flow away. This was also the reason why the Black Emperor did not dare to fight for a long time. If this continued, all the almighties in the clan would die. When that time came, not only would the Black Rock Condor clan's strength drop greatly, even the deterrence of the clan would be much smaller. Outside the mystic realm, the heavenly saint saw that the black stone mystic realm had been completely sealed. In the end, he did not forcefully attack. Instead, he shouted sternly, "Anyone who dares to go against the demon clan will end up like the Black Rock Condor clan." After a simple deterrence of the other onlooking powerhouses, the 2 demon clan great sages directly led their people away. This time, they did not expect to be able to smoothly destroy the Black Rock Condor clan. The Demon Clan did this. They just wanted to intimidate the other clans to prevent them from coveting the Demon Clan. In this battle, the Demon Clan wanted to accurately inform these powerhouses. Even if the Demon Clan was heavily injured, their strength was definitely not something that any clan could contend with. Watching the Demon Clan Almighties leave. In the void, an expert sighed. The Demon Clan is indeed a top clan that has dominated the Western state for hundreds of thousands of years. During this period of time, so many powerhouses have died, but they can still produce more than 10 demon saints and 2 great sages. Sigh, the Demon Clan is really too strong. There were also powerhouses who agreed. It was really too difficult. Even if the Demon Clan was heavily injured, their strength was still not something that the other clans could contend with. Not to mention other things. Just that force just now was enough to deal with the other clans besides the top clans. Such strength. It was both fearsome and enviable. In the Black Stone Mystic Realm, the Black Emperor was furious. For no reason. The Blackstone Condor race had lost so many experts, but there was still no sign of reinforcements from the 2 races. Quick, send someone to the 9-headed Hound clan and the Subduing Dragons to find out what's going on. The Black Emperor was a little restless. His instincts told him that something bad had happened. However, when he thought about it carefully, there didn't seem to be anything wrong with that. After the 2 ordinary Celestials received the order and left, an elder said worriedly, "My Emperor, could it be that the 2 races have already given up on us and are deliberately not coming to support us?" Impossible. The Black Emperor shook his head in denial. How could he give up on her? Could it be that his proof of allegiance was not enough? He thought for a moment. The Black Emperor felt that this possibility was not high. Didn't he see that the demon race was frantically trying to beat him up? There should be no problem with the proof of allegiance. Then there is the problem. What exactly was the problem? Or were the subsidiary races really doing their best to stop the reinforcements of the 2 races? If that was the case, the fluctuations caused by the battle should not be small. The Black Emperor sat in the secret realm and quietly opened a hole. Then, he spread out his spirit sense, but he didn't sense anything. That's not right. Just as the Black Emperor was about to retract his spirit sense, he sensed a green-robed young man who was smiling warmly at him. "Black Emperor, how have you been?" Human Clan's Qin Emperor. After being stunned for a moment, the Black Emperor immediately reacted and sealed the secret realm without thinking. Inside the Black Stone secret realm, the Black Emperor's expression changed drastically. Why is the Human Clan's Qin Emperor outside? Could it be that the ones who are stopping the reinforcements of the 2 races are not the demon race forces, but the Human Clan? He never would have thought Qin Shujian would appear at this time. Originally, there were many questions. After the other party appeared, the Black Emperor understood. He finally knew. Why didn't the reinforcements of the 2 races come? It must be because of the Human Clan. At this moment, when the elders in the hall heard the Black Emperor's words, their expressions changed drastically. "My Emperor, you're saying that the Human Clan's Qin Emperor is here. Crap, why would the Human Clan interfere? Human Clan's Qin Emperor." Now, his reputation was not small at all. Not to mention his strength. Just his reputation was not much worse than the Demon Emperor and the other supreme experts. More importantly, Qin Emperor was here. Did it mean that the experts of the Human Clan had also arrived? Now, no one dared to look down on the foundation of the Human Clan. Don't look at the Human Clan now. On the surface, there were only a few powerful figures, and the gap between them and the top clans was huge. But after Xia Yi of the Human Clan appeared, everything changed. No one was sure. How many experts were hidden in the Eastern continent? Were there any true immortals who were still alive? So, when it came to fear, the forces of the Western continent feared the Human Clan more than the Demon Clan. In addition, Qin Shujian was domineering and ruthless in his actions. The momentum of the Human Clan rose by a few notches. This was also why the Human Clan had swept across the Western continent for 300,000 miles, but no clan dared to stand out and express their dissatisfaction. To put it bluntly, they just didn't dare. Those who were dissatisfied were all dead. Who would dare to stand out? If they really provoked a true immortal of the Human Clan to appear, Even the demon clan would have to kneel down, not to mention the other clans. The Black Emperor's face was gloomy. How would Bin Huang know why Qin Emperor of the human clan has returned? Now that our clan's strength has been greatly reduced, it is not the time to fight the human clan head-on. Let's put up with him for now and talk about it later. He only had one feud with Qin Shujian. It was when he was forging the doctrine artifact. He had acted to stop the experts of the nine-headed dog clan from helping. What the Black Emperor didn't expect was that Qin Shujian would be so stingy. He had come to the Black Stone's secret realm to block him for such a trivial matter. Anyway, as long as we don't leave the secret realm, there won't be any problems. After all, the secret realm is a small world left behind by the true immortal of our clan. Unless the powerful Zhu Bing acts otherwise, at this point, the Black Emperor's confident expression stiffened. Even his words were stuck. The secret realm was very powerful. Because it was a small world, it would not be easily broken through. However, there was only one premise for this to not be easily broken through, and that was that the enemy did not have a powerful offensive Zhu Bing. If there was one, the defense of the secret realm was just a joke. If the Black Emperor remembered correctly, Qin Shujian had a powerful offensive Zhu Bing in his hands. The other elders, at this moment, their faces were also ugly as if they had lost their parents. In the outside world, Qin Shujian touched his face, not understanding why the Black Emperor would suddenly close the secret realm. Could it be that my reputation has already intimidated an emperor to the point that he doesn't dare to show his face? But it's hard to say. After all, I'm still a human emperor. He shook his head slightly. Then, his gaze landed on the space in front of him. It was also at this moment. The space trembled slightly, as if something was leaving. Seeing this, Qin Shujian's eyes turned cold. You want to leave? This was the advantage of relying on space for a small world. When he encountered an enemy that he could not defeat, he could directly escape with the entire small world. However, how could he let the Black Emperor escape? This time, the Demon Clan attacked the Black Stone Condor Clan. As the last Oriole, he could not return empty-handed no matter what. The Demon Clan was too strong. 2 great sages carried a Zhu Bing, and more than a dozen mighty figures were there. Qin Shujian was not confident that he could completely deal with them. However, a half-crippled Black Stone Condor clan was easy to capture. The stone saber that was originally in his sea of consciousness had unknowingly appeared in his hand. Immediately after, Qin Shujian took a step forward, and the void shattered. His spiritual will spread out. He sensed that behind the shattered void, something was escaping at high speed. The small world was invisible and formless. Moreover, it could escape behind the void at will. It was attached to heaven and earth, so it was not easy to find it. Qin Shujian's spiritual will seemed to have captured the existence of the Black Stone secret realm. But in reality, the perception of spiritual will was still far from being able to touch it. The difference was, it was not just a matter of distance. To put it simply, the small world was attached to the world outside heaven and earth, but it could not exist independently. Therefore, it had to open a hole in the main world as a condition for parasitism, and it was easy for cultivators to shatter the void. However, the shattered void was only the void within heaven and earth. It could not touch the scene outside heaven and earth. Therefore, once a race sealed the secret realm, it was basically invincible. However, that was for others. At this moment, Qin Shujian suddenly took out the heaven list, and then a terrifying sealing force bombarded it, causing the escaping Black Stone secret realm to pause slightly. Then, the stone saber brazenly slashed out, and an ancient and desolate aura filled heaven and earth. Saber light. A saber light that should not have appeared on the stone saber, and should not even appear in heaven and earth. It easily cut through the void. This saber, not only did it cut through the void, but it also cut through the restraints of heaven and earth. Boom! The Black Stone secret realm shook violently, and the originally invisible small world was already full of cracks. Looking from inside the secret realm, black threads had already appeared in the sky above the secret realm. At the same time, the entire Black Stone secret realm shook violently, the mountains collapsed, and the earth cracked. Many Black Stone Condor clan members were crushed to death by the collapsed mountains or swallowed by the cracked earth. The entire Black Stone's secret realm was a mess. What's going on? What happened? Why is the secret realm shaking so violently? Save me, quickly save me. Countless Black Stone Condor clan members wailed. In the main hall, all of the elders were horrified. This sudden turn of events had left them at a loss as to what to do. What should we do? If this goes on, the secret realm will be broken. Emperor Qin of the human race is too strong. He still has the 8-seal Dao artifact in hand. The sealing force will not allow the Black Stone secret realm to escape far. Some elders placed their hopes on the Black Emperor. Some elders. Crispy Noodles was ashen, and they felt despair about everything. What should they do now? They could not beat him, and they could not hide. At this moment, the Black Stone Condor clan had already fallen into despair. At this moment, the Black Emperor was also panicking, and he was somewhat helpless. What should they do? Who the hell knew what to do? Should they go out and surrender? The word surrender came to mind. The Black Emperor's eyes lit up. Yes, we surrender. As long as we surrender willingly, Emperor Qin will not kill us all. An entire clan surrendering. To any clan, this was a great benefit. Because a clan surrendering, it represented a large amount of manpower and resources, as well as the resources of an entire clan. After all, this was surrendering, not becoming a vassal. The two were completely different concepts. At this moment, the terrifying saber energy had already torn the secret realm apart. The terrifying power made all the Black Stone Condor clan members tremble. Outside, Qin Shujian had already slashed 3 times. It was completely different from Xia Yi, who had torn the Demon Clan's secret realm apart with a simple finger. Phew, this tortoiseshell is really tough. This little world is really extraordinary, Qin Shujian muttered. However, looking at the Black Stone's secret realm that had already cracked open, a cold smile appeared on his face. So what if it was tough? Before him, Emperor Qin, it would still break. Just as he was about to tear the secret realm apart, the Black Stone's secret realm, which had been fleeing, stopped. At the same time, a powerful aura rose from the secret realm. Then, a person walked out from it. The void collapsed. A person who emitted a powerful aura appeared in front of Qin Shujian, the Black Emperor. Seeing the person who had come, how could Qin Shujian not recognize the Emperor of the Black Stone Condor clan? In his opinion, the Black Emperor had made a move at this time because he knew that he could not escape and was ready to fight to the death. Thinking of this, Qin Shujian also performed the celestial body. His tens of thousands of feet tall body stood upright. A terrifying aura spread out like a wave, and the surrounding void collapsed inch by inch. However, just as the collapsed void turned into turbulence, it was forcefully suppressed by this terrifying aura. His physical body suppressed the void. At this moment, Qin Shujian fully displayed his strength. The Godslayer trembled slightly. A desolate and ancient aura rose, and a shocking massacre spread out. At this moment, Qin Shujian had not fully attacked, but his aura was already earth-shattering. No matter what the Black Emperor said, he was also a Nirvana realm expert. In addition, this was the territory of the Black Stone Condor clan. If the other party borrowed luck, he would not be much weaker than the Demon Emperor. Facing such an expert, Qin Shujian usually went all out. A lion hunting a rabbit was still like this. Moreover, the Black Emperor in front of him was not a weak rabbit. At this moment, the Black Emperor was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? Looking at Qin Shujian, who was like a mountain in front of him, and the unparalleled aura that suppressed the void turbulence, he felt all the hair on his body stand on end, and the shadow of death surged into his heart. This feeling caused the Black Emperor's expression to change drastically. One had to know. He was not here to die. Strictly speaking, he was here to surrender. He was one of them. What was he thinking in his heart? The Black Emperor also shouted loudly, "Qin Emperor, don't attack. We're one of us. Everyone is one of us. Please don't attack." In order to show his sincerity, he had yet to reveal his true body. One of us? Hearing that, Qin Shujian looked at the bean-sized Black Emperor in front of him and couldn't help but frown. Black Emperor, since you have decided to go against the human race, why do you have to pretend? That day, you indirectly stopped Bin Huang from forging a Dao artifact. You should have thought of such a situation long ago. Today, the destruction of the Black Stone Condor clan is inevitable. As he spoke, he looked at the Black Emperor with a cold gaze. Qin Emperor, please don't misunderstand. Bin Huang is determined to submit to the human race this time. I hope that Qin Emperor can accept us and let the Black Stone Condor clan live. The Black Emperor hurriedly said. He was afraid that Qin Shujian would be impatient and directly kill him with the Godslayer. Zhu Bing's power. It was still very terrifying. Although the two great sages of the demon race brought the heavenly demon temple, the Black Emperor was still able to fight them to a standstill. That was because the great sages of the demon race were not as strong as him. In addition, the heavenly demon temple was not focused on attacking. They were not on the same level as the Godslayer. Moreover, Qin Shujian's strength was very strong. It was not something that the two great sages of the demon race could compare to. If the other party attacked with all his strength, the Black Emperor felt that even if he had the help of Providence, he would still have to kneel. Kneeling to live or kneeling to die. He simply chose the former. Anyway, he would still have to kneel. It was definitely better to live. Surrender? Submit? Qin Shujian looked at the sincere Black Emperor and suddenly didn't know if the other party was real or not. If the other party really submitted to the human race, that was indeed a good thing. Destroying the Black Stone Condor clan would at most obtain a wave of life source and the clan's resources. If he could subdue the Black Stone Condor clan, the clan's resources would still belong to the human race. Moreover, he could have a group of free fighters. However, considering the Black Emperor's traitorous nature, Qin Shujian felt that it was better to kill such a person. Bin Huang is not from the demon race, nor is he from the other two races. How can he be deceived by you? Today, no matter what you say, the Black Stone Condor clan will not be able to escape destruction. I am willing to swear by the rules that the Black Stone Condor clan will submit to the human race, Emperor Qin. They will not rebel at any time. If they violate this oath, the thunder tribulation will descend from the heavens and destroy the Black Stone Condor clan. Qin Shujian suddenly had nothing to say. The other party had already made the oath. What else could he say? However, what surprised Qin Shujian was that the Black Emperor really surrendered so straightforwardly. Once the oath was made, the other party really had no way out, because if he went against it, there would be punishment from the rules. At that time, the Black Stone Condor clan would definitely be destroyed. Even a perfected immortal would turn to ashes under the thunder tribulation, let alone a small Black Stone Condor clan. Seeing this, Qin Shujian had no choice but to put away the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth and the god-slaying saber. Looking at the obedient Black Emperor in front of him, he said in a deep voice, "Since you have decided to submit, then from today onwards, the Black Stone Mystic Realm will be moved to the human territory and guard the door for the human race. If any foreign race trespasses into the human territory, the Black Stone Condor clan will have to stop them with all their might. They are not allowed to violate the rules at all." "As you command, Emperor Qin." The Black Emperor nodded and said. Now, he finally heaved a sigh of relief. He did not have to die. The Black Stone Condor clan did not have to be destroyed. It was really fortunate. However, when he thought about how he would have to suppress the human territory for many years in the future, the Black Emperor's heart surged with sadness. It was too tragic. The dignified Black Stone Condor clan was actually reduced to guarding the door. However, when he thought of the oath he had made, the Black Emperor could only grit his teeth and swallow it. And he was sure, if he were to break his vow, Qin Shujian would cut him in half even before the lightning tribulation. "Go." Qin Shujian waved his hand and chased the Black Emperor away. Hearing this, the Black Emperor did not dare to say anything more and flew back to the Black Stone Mystic Realm. When he was leaving, Qin Shujian glanced at the experts hidden in the void around him and did not say anything. He turned around and stepped into the void to leave. After a while, The experts hidden in the void finally dared to breathe. What a terrifying power! This Emperor Qin is terrifyingly powerful. That power seems to only be possessed by a demon emperor at his peak. It's too powerful. With this Emperor Qin, the human race has nothing to worry about. The experts of the various clans had mixed feelings in their hearts. In front of such a supreme expert, they felt as if they were not the experts of a clan, but insignificant cultivators. If they really wanted to fight, the Emperor Qin did not need to spend any effort to suppress them. However, these experts quickly came back to their senses and focused their attention on the void that was gradually healing. Compared to the Emperor Qin's strength that everyone knew, the submission of the Black Stone Condor clan was something that none of the experts had expected. The Black Emperor's fear of death. It made some clans feel embarrassed. However, in front of Qin Shujian and the other experts who held the Zhu Bing, who happened to be able to suppress the mystic realm, if they did not surrender, they might be wiped out. As a result, the Black Emperor's surrender seemed to be reasonable. But what these clans really cared about was the Black Stone Condor clan's surrender. Without a doubt, the strength of the human race had increased by a lot. After all, no matter how much the Black Stone Condor clan lost, they still had a supreme expert of the Nirvana realm. Moreover, there were still some experts in the clan. Combined with the current strength of the human race, there was no doubt that they could reach a higher level. Moreover, this was not a simple submission. It was the kind of oath that could not be betrayed, unless the Black Emperor fell, because the person who made the oath was the Black Emperor. As long as the Black Emperor fell and the new Emperor succeeded, then the oath would no longer be valid. However, a supreme expert of the Nirvana realm was about to fall. How could it be an easy thing? In other words, in the next few thousand years, the Black Stone Condor clan would be the loyal lackeys of the human race. Regarding this, many experts felt helpless. The human race was domineering. That Qin Emperor was even more domineering. Sweeping across 300,000 miles in the western state, it made many clans unhappy. At this time, the strength of the human race had increased a lot. That made them even more unhappy. But now the die was cast. There was no solution. Unless they killed the Black Emperor, they might be able to eliminate this advantage of the human race. Thinking of this possibility, the other experts all looked at each other tacitly. Then, their gazes fell on the somewhat broken Black Stone mystic realm. It had taken several attacks from the Godslayer. This mystic realm had a loophole. If they wanted to attack it, it would not be too difficult. However, after thinking for a long time, these experts gave up on this plan. Now, the Black Stone Condor clan was the lackeys of Qin Emperor. If they destroyed it, it would definitely make Qin Emperor unhappy. If one day the other party appeared in front of their door, and then used Zhu Bing to hack the mystic realm, that scene would be too beautiful. Forget it. Things can't be undone. I'll take my leave first. Some experts shook their heads helplessly. In the end, they cupped their hands and left. Not long after, the experts who were still in the void all retreated. In the distance, the Dog Emperor and the Earth Emperor looked at each other. They could see the astonishment in each other's eyes. After a long time, the Earth Emperor took a breath. He felt a toothache. The Black Emperor's bones are really soft. Not only did he surrender, he even made an oath. This is really unexpected for Bin Huang. The Black Emperor's operation really showed off his face. When the other party walked out, the Earth Emperor thought that the Black Emperor wanted to die together with the Qin Emperor. In the end, he surrendered. The Dog Emperor also sighed in admiration. The Black Emperor knows when to yield and when to stand tall. This is something that you and I can't do. And in the situation just now, if he did not make an oath, Qin Emperor would not believe him. In this way, his actions are also very decisive. Although surrendering was despicable, but the Black Emperor's decisiveness, it also made the Dog Emperor admire him. As an emperor, being able to yield and stand tall to this extent was also a kind of ability. Then, the Dog Emperor said again, the emperor of a clan does not have to be unparalleled in battle strength, nor does it have to be unyielding. Sometimes, being able to ensure the continuation of the clan is actually the emperor's greatest honor. Although, the Black Emperor brought this situation upon himself. After saying that, the Dog Emperor added another sentence in his heart. But no matter what, the Black Emperor surrendered not because he was afraid of death, but for the sake of the entire Black Stone Condor clan. The Earth Emperor did not comment. He did not agree with the Dog Emperor's words, but he also did not object. At this moment, he moved his gaze away from the Black Stone's secret realm. He turned to the Dog Emperor and said, "What should we do now? The Black Emperor has surrendered. There is no chance to destroy him. As for the Yao clan, they should have returned to the Yao clan's secret realm. It seems that this time, we are just watching a show. We don't have to do anything else." Haha, isn't it good that we don't have to do anything? This way, we can avoid bloodshed. The Dog Emperor smiled. If they did not have to fight, the nine-headed dog clan would not suffer any losses. There are other matters in the clan. Ben Huang will take his leave first. Earth Emperor, please do as you wish. The Dog Emperor cupped his hands and left with his people. On the spot, only the Earth Emperor and the many experts of the Earthen Dragons were left. "My Emperor, what should we do now?" An expert asked in a low voice. Hearing that, the Earth Emperor looked at the Dog Emperor's back as he left. He then looked at the battle in front of him that had already been settled. He shook his head and said, "What else can we do? Let's go home." Then, the experts of the Earthen Dragons all left. In the Black Stone's secret realm, when the experts of the two clans left, the Black Emperor also sensed it. He raised his head and looked at the crack in the secret realm. He could vaguely see the backs of the two clans leaving. Then, he gritted his teeth again. "Very good. I didn't expect you two clans to betray your alliance and secretly watch the battle without helping. Ben Huang was so considerate of you. How blind." The Black Emperor was now very angry. 80% of this anger came from the nine-headed Hound clan and the Earthen Dragons. In his opinion, these allies had to bear the main responsibility for his ending. The remaining 20% was inside. In fact, 15% was anger towards the Demon Clan. The remaining 5% was dissatisfaction towards Qin Shujian. But what was done could not be undone. No matter how angry and dissatisfied the Black Emperor was, he had to grit his teeth and swallow it. "My Emperor, are we really going to help the human clan guard the door?" An elder's face was filled with grief. A large clan had been reduced to guarding the door. The change was too fast, and they did not expect it. The Black Emperor said in a muffled voice, "If you go back on your word, the rule Thunder Tribulation will descend, and you and I will be turned into ashes." This sentence made all the elders fall silent. The rule oath was not something that could be broken. If a true immortal wanted to go back on his word, there was a possibility of dying, not to mention anything else. Then, the Black Emperor looked at the collapsed Black Stone secret realm and the many casualties of the Black Stone Condor clan. There was a hint of sadness in his eyes, but soon he calmed himself down. "All celestial cultivators, do your best to repair the secret realm. There must be no mistakes." "Yes, my Emperor." More than 20 powerhouses of the Black Stone Condor clan rose into the air and headed towards the secret realm crack. They were the Celestials in the Black Stone secret realm. Compared to the few almighty powerhouses, there were still many ordinary Celestials in the Black Stone Condor clan. At the same time, the Black Emperor also calmed down and drove the secret realm towards the human territory. The human territory, East City. Out of the 4 cities, it was the only city that could push forward 300,000 miles. During this period of time, the East City Lord had also been under a lot of pressure. Those races whose territories had been seized by the human clan had powerhouses surrounding them at all times, as if they would rush over and tear him apart at any time. Every powerhouse. Their auras were shocking, and their strength was not lower than the 7th level of the celestial realm. Regarding this, the East City Lord felt that he was under a lot of pressure. Sigh, what a troublesome matter. In the City Lord mansion, the East City Lord sat in the pavilion and sighed helplessly. Sitting in front of him was Dan Hao. Beside the two of them were the maids in the City Lord mansion, who were pouring tea for them and quietly waiting on them. "You're so proud of yourself now. What's there to sigh about?" Dan Hao looked at him with a half-smile. Hearing this, The East City Lord looked helpless. Brother Dan, don't mock me. Can't you feel the aura from the human territory? Although they don't come in, they're really annoying. Sometimes, he even thought that it would be better to just charge in and have a grand battle with everyone. However, the other party refused to enter or leave. This made the East City Lord unable to vent his anger. More importantly, they didn't step into the human territory without permission, but he wanted to attack them. This would undoubtedly give the other races the impression that the human clan was arrogant and domineering. Although the human clan was indeed a little arrogant and domineering now, but no matter what, one had to have reason and evidence to do things. Some time ago, Qin Shujian had pushed through 300,000 miles of territory. It seemed that he was domineering and alone. But seriously speaking, that was also the territory that the perfected immortal of the human clan had heavily injured the demon clan and fought for the human clan. In addition, the remaining power of the perfected immortal was still there. The other races didn't dare to say anything when the human clan expanded their territory by 300,000 miles. It was also because of this. Only the East City Lord had pushed through the West Continent. He didn't do anything extreme to the South Continent and the North Continent. Hearing this, Dan Hao's smile faded a little, and he snorted coldly. If it weren't for our lack of strength, we would have gone out and taught them a lesson. We even allowed them to wander around there every day. Compared to the East City Lord, this General Ming Yuan was even more domineering. Unfortunately, it was no longer the time when the East Continent was sealed. The Saint Realm cultivators could also show off their strength. If it was in the past, Dan Hao would have brought people out to fight, but not now. He couldn't fight casually when he wasn't strong enough. Buzz! The void trembled slightly, and a person walked out from it. Seeing the person appear, the East City Lord and Dan Hao were stunned for a moment. Then, they stood up and bowed. Greetings, Emperor Qin. East City Lord, General Dan, you may dispense with the formalities. Thank you, Emperor Qin. Only then did the two straighten up. Qin Shujian sat down in an empty seat, as if he was familiar with them. Then, he looked at the two people who were still standing there and said with a faint smile, "You two don't have to stand. Sit down when you should. Speaking of which, it's not the first time Bin Huang has met you. When have you ever been so reserved?" As he spoke, he had already poured himself a cup of tea. The maids standing at the side trembled slightly, not daring to move recklessly. The East City Lord said respectfully, "Today is different from the past. Emperor Qin, you have a noble status. How dare we be rude?" Dan Hao didn't say anything, but his expression was more or less the same. For this, Qin Shujian could only shake his head. Forget it, forget it. You can do whatever you want. Bin Huang can't be bothered. But just now, from what the East City Lord said, it seems that there is some trouble in the human territory during this period. Emperor Qin, there is no trouble. It's just that there are always foreign experts outside the territory, which is quite annoying. The East City Lord said truthfully. Hearing this, Qin Shujian looked at the surrounding void and nodded in agreement. It's really annoying. Immediately afterward, he took out the Godslayer. Then, the stone saber rose into the air and became tens of thousands of feet long. Endless saber chi swept out directly, covering the entire sky of the human territory within 300,000 miles. Some of it even spilled out. All of a sudden, those experts hidden in the void screamed one after another. They were shaken by the saber chi and fell into the void. Immediately afterward, the stone saber fell again and was taken into Qin Shujian's sea of consciousness. It's much quieter now. Qin Shujian smiled slightly, as if he had done something insignificant. Seeing this, both of them were shocked, but their expressions quickly turned into reverence. This kind of strength was shocking, but only such strength was worthy of being the emperor of the human race. After the shock, the East City Lord cupped his hands and said, "May I ask what orders do you have for coming to the East City this time?" He didn't directly ask the other party's purpose. That would be disrespectful. One must know that Qin Shujian's identity was different now. The way he spoke had to change a little. Hearing this, Qin Shujian took a sip of tea and said lightly, "Bin Huang has just subdued the Black Stone Condor clan. It won't be long before the Black Stone Condor clan's secret realm moves to the human territory. At that time, the Black Stone Condor clan will be the gateway to the human territory. If you encounter a strong enemy, just let them deal with it. Including the trouble you are talking about now, you can let them deal with it. Although the Black Stone Condor clan's strength is average, the Black Emperor is a Nirvana realm expert. No matter what, he can still play some role. On the other side, the East City Lord and Dan Hao both had blank looks on their faces. What did he mean? Subdued the Black Stone Condor clan? They were quite familiar with this clan. No matter what, it was a big clan with a Nirvana realm expert. Although it was not as strong as the Demon clan, it was not as bad as Qin Shujian said. But this was not the main point. The main point was that this Emperor Qin had subdued the Black Stone Condor clan. Thinking of this, both of them sucked in a breath of cold air. If this news was spread out, it would shock the human race. But after the shock, the two of them were ecstatic. With the help of another clan, the strength of the human race could be improved a lot. P.S. Writing late at night, please support the original and give the author a meal. Chidian Chinese Networks, I am decent. Chapter 622. In a short period of time, many things had happened in the Western Prefecture. First, the Black Rock Condor clan killed the powerful figures of the Demon clan. Then, the Demon clan attacked the Black Rock Condor clan. In the end, even Emperor Qin of the Human clan intervened. This caused the situation in the Western state. They fell into a state of nervousness. In a city of the Alien clan, people came and went. They were peddling and trading inside. These people looked like the Human clan from the outside, but their true bodies were of the Alien clan. Because the Alien clan's true body would become bigger as their strength increased. It was normal for them to be thousands of feet tall. Celestial Alien clan. Their bodies could reach thousands of feet. If they were to build a city with such a body, even a large city that covered an area of 100,000 miles would not be enough. One had to know, building a city also required a lot of resources. Therefore, when it was not necessary, the Alien clan liked to transform into human form to communicate. Although many of them hated the Human clan, it meant that they did not like to transform into human form. In the city of the Alien clan, there were restaurants and tea houses as well. Several players gathered at a table, looking distressed and sighing from time to time. It's really too difficult. There have been many large-scale battles in the Western state recently, but we haven't received any missions. If this continues, it will be even more difficult for us to survive. Now, all the people who are attacking are powerful figures. With our strength, how can we receive missions? Forget about missions, it's good enough that we are not affected. Some players complained crazily. You still want to receive missions? You must be dreaming. No one knew when it started. Wars often broke out in the Western state, and they were the kind that could destroy the world. Forget about accepting missions. There were many players who were accidentally affected by the aftermath and lost a level for nothing. It could be said that, during this time, the players of the Western state were also living in an abyss of suffering. F***CK. If this continues, we will be suppressed by the players of the Nine Moons Great World and the Red Jade Great World. A young player looked resentful. Why were the players of these two continents safe and sound while the Western state was plagued with disasters? However, some players sighed and said, the Northern continent is not peaceful now. That demon Si Hanhai is killing people everywhere, regardless of whether they are players or not. I heard that the players there are going to turn the world upside down. Seriously speaking, only the Southern continent and the Eastern continent are peaceful. Hearing this, the other players felt a little better. It wasn't just the players of the Western region who suffered alone. Soon after, the young player raised his eyebrows. We can't go on like this. Since we can't stay in the Western continent, why don't we consider the other two continents? We're all players anyway. As long as we don't deliberately come into contact, who can tell who's who? He couldn't stay in the Western region any longer. Then he would go to the Southern continent and the Eastern continent. Sigh, that's easy for you to say. I've heard that there's a treasure guarding the Eastern continent. Those who aren't from the Eastern continent can't enter at all. Many players have tried to sneak into the eastern continent, but they were all killed by the guards guarding the passage. If you want to enter the eastern continent, you might as well stay in the western continent. If we can't enter the eastern continent, then we'll go to the southern continent. Anyway, we can't stay in the western continent any longer. If another Nirvana Realm expert attacks, we'll all be finished. The young player's face was gloomy. There was no other way. The players were too weak. Until now, no God Martial Arts Realm expert had been born. However, the experts in the recent battle were all stronger than the previous one. They were all diviners, and even Nirvana Realm experts. Some time ago, there were even true immortals. Xia of the human race's palm strike not only destroyed millions of demons, but also killed countless players. For this, the players perfectly understood the story of sitting at home and disaster falling from the sky. If the overall strength of the players could keep up, then the war would break out as they wished. However, if their strength couldn't keep up, then it would be hard to say. At this moment, the demon race's secret realm, the demon emperor had already come out of the dragon transformation pool. After swallowing the dragon pearl, not only had his injuries completely healed, but he had also faintly improved a little. At this moment, the demon race experts who went to attack the Black Stone secret realm had all returned. In the main hall, the demon emperor transformed into a human body, wearing a golden dragon robe, and sat on the main seat. A faint pressure spread out from his body. Below the demon emperor, all the elders of the demon race were sitting. There were many elders of the demon race. Anyone who broke through to the diviner realm could become an elder. As a result, the number of elders was a bit too many. Fortunately, the demon race main hall also had a world inside, which was why it could accommodate hundreds of people. Originally, the demon emperor was seriously injured. It was a huge blow to the morale of the demon race. But now that the demon emperor had come out of seclusion and his injuries were completely healed, their morale was immediately boosted. However, some of the demon race experts had complicated expressions in their eyes. For some of them, the demon emperor was seriously injured and the dragon's strength was greatly reduced. This was an opportunity for their race. Unfortunately, the demon emperor had used some unknown method to recover, causing some of their plans to fail before they could be implemented. At this moment, the Heaven Saint looked at the demon emperor and said in a deep voice, "In this battle, we killed 3 mighty figures of the Black Stone Condor race. However, the Black Emperor is not weak. Under the suppression of the Heavenly Demon Temple, he still escaped. Now that the Black Stone secret realm is temporarily sealed, we have no way to break it open." The Heavenly Demon Temple was a defense-oriented Zubing. To break open the secret realm, it was undoubtedly a difficult task, unless the secret realm stayed in place, and then used the Heavenly Demon Temple to forcefully crush the secret realm. However, this idea was simply unrealistic. After all, the Black Emperor was not dead. He could completely drive the Black Stone secret realm to escape. Instead of wasting time, it was better to return home. The Demon Emperor's gaze was like lightning as it landed on the Heaven Saint. Then, he swept his gaze across the other elders before saying, "Let's not bother about the Black Stone secret realm for now. This time, killing 3 mighty figures of the Black Stone Condor race has already increased the demon race's prestige. During this period of time, our race should not act rashly. Let's wait until Binhuang breaks through to the true immortal realm first." "Your Majesty can break through to the true immortal realm now?" the Heaven Saint said in a deep voice. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he felt that this sentence sounded familiar. However, he did not think too much about it. For him, if the Demon Emperor could break through to the true immortal realm, it would be beneficial for him. This way, he would have no more worries after breaking through to the Nirvana realm. Speaking of which, this was the tragedy of the demon race mighty figures. With the Demon Emperor above them, if other experts wanted to break through, they would have to depend on the Demon Emperor's mood. However, it was impossible to say that there was no Demon Emperor. The demon race could not lack supreme experts. It could be said that the demon race was now trapped in an endless cycle. Even the 2 supreme sages were suppressing their realms and did not dare to break through easily. They were afraid that the Demon Emperor would be suspicious and target them. After all, the Demon Emperor was extremely powerful. Even if they had just entered the Nirvana realm, there was no possibility of fighting against him. In addition, he was able to control the fate of the demon race. His strength was even more monstrous. The last supreme expert of the Black Crow race who died. The other mighty figures of the demon race also had a tacit understanding. But these things, they could not say it out loud. Moreover, the dragons had controlled the position of the Demon Emperor for a long time. It had been going on since ancient times. The other races had no chance to make a comeback. This was also the reason. When the Heaven Saint heard that the Demon Emperor was going to break through to the true immortal realm, he had such an idea. The Demon Emperor said calmly, "This time, we have profited from a disaster. Ben Huang has sensed something in his heart. It should not be a problem for him to break through to the true immortal realm. During this period of time, you all should focus on repairing the secret realm. As for the human race, as long as the human race does not expand their territory, we will ignore them for the time being." Moreover, from Ben Huang's point of view, Emperor Zhao should not have much lifespan left. If he does not break through to the true immortal realm, he will definitely die soon. If he does, the other races will also interfere. When Emperor Zhao falls, Emperor Qin alone will not be able to support the human race. At that time, it will be the opportunity for the demon race to destroy the human race. The problem of Emperor Zhao's lifespan. It was not a secret. The aura of old age on his body could not be concealed at all. Moreover, the demon race had also returned from the eastern continent. From the mouths of these demon race, the Demon Emperor also knew about Emperor Zhao's background. 7,000 years ago, he appeared out of nowhere and defeated the demon race of the eastern continent. When he appeared, he was already a terrifying expert of the 10th level of the celestial being. In other words, Emperor Zhao was already at the 10th level of the celestial being 7,000 years ago. Then, the time it took for him to cultivate from nothing to the 10th level of the celestial being would definitely not be short. No matter how amazing he was, to reach this level, it would take thousands of years. Even if Emperor Zhao was even more amazing, 2,000 to 3,000 years was still needed. The lifespan of the celestial being was 7,000 years. Through means, one could extend their lifespan to 10,000 years. But for the human race, 10,000 years was the limit. The world was fair. The human race could increase their strength faster than other races, but they had a shortcoming in terms of lifespan. Just like the supreme experts of other races, it was not a problem for them to live for more than 10,000 years. But the human race could not. Because of this, the Demon Emperor was sure that Emperor Zhao did not have much time left. At this moment, there was no need for the demon race to fight with the human race. Among the human race, the only one that the Demon Emperor was afraid of was Emperor Zhao. As long as Emperor Zhao fell, the human race would no longer be a problem. According to his estimation, perhaps in another 10 to 20 years, Emperor Zhao would reach his end. Perhaps this time would be closer. That was not necessarily the case. When the other demon race elders heard this, they could not help but look at each other. The heavenly saint said in a deep voice, "My emperor means that Emperor Zhao of the human race is about to fall." This news was not small. If it were to spread, it would be enough to shake the human race. The demon emperor said, "Lifespan is the limit of heaven and earth. No one can change it. Even a perfected immortal is not qualified. What ability does a mere Emperor Zhao have to defy the heavens and change his fate?" Defy the heavens and change fate. That was just a joke. A perfected immortal's lifespan was 129,600 years. Once the time was up, even such a terrifying existence would fall. The reason why a perfected immortal of the demon race could survive until now, it was just that when the other party was on his deathbed, they used a special method to seal him so that he would forever remain in the state before the seal. Such a state was like a stone before the seal was broken. Once the seal was broken, it was the thunder tribulation that descended and turned into ashes. Even a perfected immortal was like this. What ability did a mere Emperor Zhao have to defy the heavens and change his fate? If he wanted to avoid the end of his lifespan, in that case, there was only one path left, and that was becoming an immortal. If Emperor Zhao became an immortal, not to mention the demon race, the other races would definitely go and stop him. In the demon emperor's opinion, the other party definitely had no chance of success. Hearing that, many of the demonic race elders were also overjoyed. As long as Emperor Zhao falls, how can Emperor Qin be a match for my emperor? When the time comes, the human race will definitely be destroyed. Even the East continent will be ours. At this moment, an elder of the vermilion bird race said hatefully, Emperor Qin killed our clan leader. This hatred is irreconcilable. If we can attack the human race, I hope that my emperor can kill Emperor Qin and avenge the vermilion bird race. After so many years, the vermilion bird race had only given birth to a mighty figure, Holy Fire. In the end, Holy Fire died at the hands of Qin Shujian. This was a huge blow to the vermilion bird race. Everyone in the vermilion bird race, all of them were angry at Qin Shujian. If not for their lack of strength, they might have already rushed into the human territory and killed him by force. The demon emperor nodded slightly and said calmly, Elder Ming Yin, don't worry. Ben Huang will not forget Holy Fire's revenge. When the demon race attacks the human territory, it will be the day Emperor Qin falls. Thank you, Demon Emperor. Elder Ming Yin bowed down. At this moment, the smile on the demon emperor's face suddenly froze, and then it became gloomy. An aura of anger. It exploded from his body. A sudden turn of events. All the elders of the demon race were shocked. My emperor, what happened? Thunder Saint's face was solemn as he cupped his hands and asked. There were not many things that could anger the demon emperor. At this moment, the other party had obviously received some news. There was no reason for it. The first thing that came to his mind was, could it be that another mighty figure of the dragons had been killed? But soon, Thunder Saint came back to his senses. Many of the mighty figures of the dragons had died, and the rest were all here at this moment. It was impossible for a powerhouse to have died. Then, what was it that could make the demon emperor so angry? Thunder Saint was not the only one guessing. The other elders were also guessing. A moment later, the demon emperor said slowly, the Black Emperor has made a rule oath that the Black Rock Condor race will all submit to the human race. What? Impossible. The Heavenly Saint and Thunder Saint had the biggest reaction. Both of them were shocked. How could the Black Emperor submit to the human race? They had beaten the other party to the point that he did not dare to leave the Black Stone secret realm. How could he have the time to submit to the human race? Emperor Qin. The demon emperor closed his eyes slightly and then opened them again. Emperor Qin has the Godslayer in his hands. The Black Stone's secret realm can't resist at all. The Black Emperor is weak, so it's natural for him to submit. His calm words contained a terrifying killing intent. It was natural. However, the other party's submission to the human race still made the demon emperor want to kill him. As for the Black Emperor, this traitor, he was already very dissatisfied in his heart, especially since the other party had killed the mighty figure of the dragons. The demon emperor even had the idea of destroying the Black Stone secret realm. However, the heavenly demon temple was not attacking Zhu Bing. It was not easy to break into the Black Stone secret realm. That was why he gave up on this plan. However, it was fine if the other party hid in the Black Stone secret realm. Anyway, he did not want to come out and cause trouble. In the end, the other party surrendered to the enemy without hesitation and even swore an oath of the rules. Now, the demon emperor wanted to capture the Black Emperor and split open his head to see if it was full of shit. Could an oath of the rules be made casually? In this way, even if the human race had an absolutely loyal henchman and lackey. Although the demon emperor did not take the Black Emperor seriously, he had to admit that the other party was really strong. Or else, he would not secretly rope in the Black Emperor and break up the alliance of the three races. The demon emperor was furious. The Heavenly Saint and Thunder Saint's expressions were as ugly as if they had been forcefully fed a pile of shit. Just as they left, Qin Shujian went over and subdued the Black Emperor. To be honest, the two great saints of the demon race really did not expect such an outcome. They fought to the death. In the end, the human race took the peach. At that moment, the disgust made their faces contort. After the disgust, it was a monstrous anger. The heavenly saint stood up and took a step forward. He cupped his fists and said, "I am willing to lead the army to attack the Black Stone Condor race. This time, I will not retreat until the Black Stone secret realm is broken. I am willing to fight. I am also willing to fight." In an instant, more than 10 elders of the demon race stood up. Their faces were filled with anger toward the Black Emperor. It was fine if he wanted to surrender. Why didn't he surrender to the demon race but kneel to the human race? Although they knew that the Black Emperor was a traitor, they still felt the anger of being betrayed. The Black Stone secret realm is now in the human territory. If we attack the Black Stone Condor race, the human race will not sit back and do nothing. We will settle this in the future. The demon emperor shook his head and suppressed the anger in his heart. Now that the Black Stone Condor race was backed by the human race, it was not appropriate to make a move. The human race was still very strong. This was strong. It was not in the overall strength of the human race, but in the few top powerhouses. But such powerhouses, they were also the most worthy of fear. To be honest, the demon emperor did not dare to push Emperor Zhao too far. If he forced him to a dead end, he would end up like Xia Yi and kill the demon race without caring about anything. That would be a huge problem. Emperor Zhao was not Xia Yi, but he was also not Dragon Jinxian, although he did not want to admit it. The demon emperor also knew that there was a certain gap between his strength and Xia Yi's. If, in the 4 major continents, the human race's Emperor Zhao was the closest to the true immortal realm, if he divided it seriously, in the demon emperor's opinion, Emperor Zhao might have surpassed the Nirvana realm and reached the half-immortal realm. Half-immortal, half-step true immortal. That was the strongest powerhouse closest to the true immortal realm. So what if you are only a half-immortal? You can't change anything if you can't become an immortal. You are the strongest half-immortal now, but you will never have the chance to become an immortal. When Ben Huang becomes an immortal, it will be the time of the human race's destruction. The demon emperor thought to himself. Then, he suppressed the anger of the Thunder Saint and the others. On the other side, the Black Stone secret realm had also moved to the human territory. Only the void shook. A secret realm suddenly descended. Such an unforeseen event caused the expressions of the surrounding experts to change. Although many experts knew that the Black Emperor had submitted to the human race, there were also many who did not know. At this moment, seeing the secret realm descending, some experts thought that the Black Stone Condor race was going to attack the human race. For this, they moved the entire Black Stone secret realm over. Thinking of this, some cultivators were excited. Finally, some races could not stand the arrogance of the human race and wanted to attack. This was something that everyone was happy about, especially when Qin Shujian drove the Godslayer and injured the experts hiding outside the human territory. It caused the anger of many cultivators. However, some cultivators had complicated expressions and looked at the Black Stone secret realm with a strange expression. The Black Stone secret realm descended. It caused a lot of commotion. The human race also noticed the commotion. Many human cultivators looked at the commotion in front of them, and their expressions changed drastically. The cultivators guarding the human territory. He even sounded the alarm at the first moment. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the human cultivators flew into the air. Their auras gathered together and shook the void. Who are you? How dare you provoke the human race? Have you forgotten the power of Qin Huang? Retreat quickly, or you will start a war with the human race. A cold voice rang out. All the cultivators looked in the direction of the Black Stone secret realm, their eyes turning cold. When they had just left the eastern continent, the human cultivators did not dare to be so arrogant. Because they knew that the human race was not strong and had many enemies, they were in an extremely difficult situation. But now, it was different. As Qin Shujian killed more and more experts, the confidence of the human cultivators increased greatly. In their opinion, no matter how strong the other cultivators were, could they be stronger than Qin Huang? If they were stronger than Qin Huang, could they be stronger than Xia Yi? Many humans thought so. There must be other true immortals in the eastern continent, but they did not show up easily. Xia Yi, who appeared in front of them, had already defeated a huge demon race. Therefore, these people thought that they had a strong foundation and there was no need to be afraid of other races. In the eastern city, a person rose into the air. When the human cultivators saw this, they were all delighted. Then, they cupped their hands and said, "Greetings, City Lord East. City Lord, you came at the right time. There are foreign invaders now." The city lords of the 4 great cities had great prestige in the human territory. After all, they were the true powerhouses in the human territory. Hearing this, City Lord East smiled and said, "Don't worry, everyone. This time, it is a friend of the Black Stone Condor race." Friend of the Black Stone Condor race? Many people were confused. They had heard of the Black Stone Condor race, but when did they become friends of the human race? On the other side, the secret realm landed. The Black Emperor stepped through the void and appeared in front of City Lord East. "Greetings, Black Emperor. City Lord East, you are too polite." The Black Emperor did not look arrogant. Instead, he said politely, "Ben Huang has moved the Black Stone secret realm here under the orders of Qin Huang. May I know where it is suitable to place it?" "It will be in the first 30,000 kilometers of the human race's territory in the western province. However, the Black Emperor will decide where exactly it will be." City Lord East smiled and said, "The human race is not xenophobic. The Black Stone Condor race can develop here safely, but Qin Huang has a message for me to pass to you." "City Lord East, please speak." "No one of the Black Stone Condor race is allowed to harm the human race. Those who violate this will be severely punished." "City Lord East, you can pass this message to Qin Huang on behalf of Ben Huang. The Black Stone Condor race will remember this." "Okay." The East City Lord nodded and returned to the East City. On the other side, the Black Emperor also turned around and officially placed the Black Stone secret realm in the human territory, with his identity as a Nirvana realm expert. In the past, he did not need to be so polite to a Saint Realm cultivator. But City Lord East's identity was not ordinary, and there were 2 emperors behind him. The Black Emperor did not dare to offend him. For the Black Emperor, he had already accepted his fate. He had already sworn and submitted. All that was left was to do his part. Not long after, the Black Emperor finished moving the Black Stone secret realm. The Black Stone Condor race walked out of the secret realm and began to build a city in the outside world. The human race gave them 30,000 miles of territory. The Black Emperor would not waste it. In the next few thousand years, he would probably have to take root here. There was nothing much to say. An elder looked at the secret realm and said worriedly, "My Emperor, if the human race starts a war and uses us as cannon fodder, what should we do?" The human race had offended many races. A war was unavoidable. This elder was worried that if the human race started a war, the Black Stone Condor race would become the first sacrifice. The Black Emperor shook his head and said, "The possibility is not high. If we become cannon fodder, who would dare to submit to the human race so easily? This way, the human race will be surrounded by enemies. This is not a good thing. As long as the human race is not stupid, they will not use us as cannon fodder. But if the war starts, we will have to participate." On some matters, the Black Emperor was still very clear. He was not afraid that the human race would use his race as cannon fodder. This was also the reason why he had simply submitted. At the same time, the startled human cultivators looked at the Black Stone Condor race in a daze. They had yet to recover from the shock of what had just happened. Had he submitted? Qin Huang had subdued a race. Many people's faces were filled with shock and ecstasy. The overall strength of the human race was stronger. For them, the benefits were greater. Liang Mountain Spirit Domain, Yuan Sect. After briefly explaining the Black Emperor's matter to the East City Lord, Qin Shujian had already returned home. Originally, the matter of the Qianyuan sacred ground had not been settled. He did not plan to run around. It was only when he learned that the demon race had attacked the Black Stone secret realm that Qin Shujian decided to get involved. The result was naturally delightful. Although the Black Stone Condor race was not destroyed, they had subdued a race. In other words, the strength of the Black Stone Condor race was not much weaker than the human race. In particular, The number of diviners and mighty figures was not inferior to the human race at all. But now, 3 mighty figures had fallen. They were inferior to the human race. But no matter what, the strength of the Black Stone Condor race was still not bad, especially with the Black Emperor, a Nirvana realm mighty figure. Their strength was even more extraordinary. Including the Black Emperor, the human race now has 3 Nirvana realm mighty figures. If we start a war with a single race, even the demon race and the god race will not be able to resist. However, these races will not only have the strength of their own race. There are also many vassal races under them. In general, it is still too difficult for the human race to destroy these races now. In the main sect, Qin Shujian was secretly estimating the difference in strength between the human race and the other races. The biggest flaw of the human race at the moment, it was that there were too few mighty figures. Or rather, not only were there too few mighty figures, but even ordinary diviners were pitifully few, not to mention the imperial court. Excluding Yuanzong, there were less than 10 celestial beings in the cultivation world, and none of them had reached the saint realm. Such strength, saying that it was the peak strength of the human race's cultivation world, was discrediting the human race. Thinking of the strength of the cultivation world, Qin Shujian also shook his head. The biggest problem of the cultivation world is the cultivation method. As long as the problem of the cultivation method is solved, the problem of resources will not be a big problem. If we simply absorb the spirit qi of heaven and earth, it will save more time and effort. It's just that this matter can't be rushed. We have to wait until the Qinyuan sacred ground is completely confirmed. Integrate the cultivation methods of the world. Then implement it. All of these required a lot of time. Immediately, Qin Shujian took out the storage ring and looked at the pile of materials inside. A smile appeared on his face again. He had subdued the Black Stone Condor race. How could he go back empty-handed? So, Qin Shujian had already entered the Black Stone secret realm. After collecting some materials, he left with satisfaction. I was worried that there would not be enough materials to build the human emperor's palace. Now it seems that there shouldn't be a big problem. However, he did not ask Zheng Fong to give up collecting materials. For Qin Shujian, naturally, the more materials he had, the better. If there were not enough, it would be very awkward. Now he already had 6 storage rings on his hand, almost filling all 10 of his fingers. 5 of the storage rings were piled with materials. One was the ancient immortal ring. Feeling the weight of his fingers, Qin Shujian sighed. I finally understand the worries of the rich. It's really too heavy. After sighing, he focused on the ancient immortal ring in his hand again. Qin Shujian still valued this small world hidden in the ancient immortal ring very much. Judging from the situation in the Black Stone secret realm, he knew the importance of a small world. If he had not encountered the Godslayer, the Black Emperor could have hidden in the small world and then fled everywhere. No one could catch him. Even if the secret realm was locked, it would be very difficult to break through it. It could be said that having a small world was equivalent to having a way out, taking 10,000 steps back. If one day the East continent was breached and thousands of races came to the door, the human race could still enter the small world to hide and then wander around the 4 continents. In general, the benefits of having a small world were not small. Looking at the ancient immortal ring in front of him, Qin Shujian had also tried to drip blood on it. However, according to the Godslayer, the Void Stone was not a spirit artifact or Tao artifact. There was no use in it, unless it was to break the Void Stone. Otherwise, the small world would not appear. As a result, without breaking the ancient immortal ring, it would be even more difficult to find out more about this small world. Fortunately, Qin Shujian had a lot of time now. He could sit down and slowly observe. 2 days later, he gave up on studying the ancient immortal ring. It was too difficult. If he could not break the Void Stone, he really could not see anything. Besides this reason, there was another reason that Qin Shujian gave up. That was that Su Zhan had arrived. After a long and arduous journey, Elder Su, who had asked Zheng Fong to send a message to the imperial astronomer, finally arrived at his destination, the Yuan sect. In the courtyard, Su Zhan looked at Qin Shujian in front of him and cupped his hands. Greetings, Emperor Qin. just like the others. He did not dare to be rude. Qin Shujian smiled faintly. Elder Su, why are you so polite? Although Ben Huang is the Emperor Qin, he only controls the cultivation world. He does not have much to do with the imperial court. Elder Su, you don't have to be so formal. Haha, I still have to be polite. Otherwise, if word gets out, I will be cursed by thousands. Sure enough, Su Zhan quickly relaxed and laughed heartily. He was different from the others who were reserved in front of Qin Shujian. The imperial astronomer was detached from worldly affairs. Even in front of Zhao Emperor, Su Zhan was only polite, but he wasn't overly cautious. At this moment, facing Qin Shujian, it was the same. Regarding this, Qin Shujian, on the other hand, was rather pleased. He finally met someone he could communicate with normally. After laughing, Su Zhan also became a bit more serious. He said seriously, I wonder why Qin Shihuang has asked me to come here this time? The previous few times, he was the one who looked for Qin Shujian. It was the first time that Qin Shujian looked for him. Su Zhan was also very curious. Therefore, after getting the news, he immediately rushed over after dealing with the matters at hand. Elder Su, you should know that Ben Huang is now the emperor and needs to build the palace of the human emperor. However, there is no reason for the human emperor to build the palace himself. Therefore, Ben Huang invited you here to help build the palace of the human emperor. Qin Shujian said straightforwardly, build the palace of the human emperor. Su Zhan was startled, but he quickly reacted. There was a hint of joy on his face. The palace of the human emperor was not something else. It was the face of the human emperor of a clan. Similarly, as the person who built the palace of the human emperor, he was destined to be immortalized and famous. Such an opportunity. How could Su Zhan dislike it? However, after the excitement, he hesitated again. The palace of the human emperor is not ordinary. With Emperor Qin's status, it is impossible for him to build a simple Taoist instrument. In this case, I am afraid that I will not be able to do it alone. If the building fails, it will be troublesome. If it was in the past, Su Zhan would have agreed immediately. However, after being hit by Qin Shujian again and again, although he was still confident in his casting skills, he was not as blindly confident as before. If he really failed, it would not be good for his face, but it would be a great loss. Qin Shujian said, Elder Su will be the main person in charge of building the palace of the human emperor. However, Ben Huang will also invite a few more grandmasters of casting to help you build the palace successfully. Hearing that, Su Zhan's face relaxed. He nodded and said, if there are other grandmasters, I have a great chance of success. However, I don't know what requirements Emperor Qin has for the palace. By the way, where will the palace be built and when will it start? This is the blueprint of the palace of the human emperor. Elder Su, you can take a look. Qin Shujian took out a piece of spiritual paper and floated in front of him. After Su Zhan picked up the spiritual paper, he continued, soon, Ben Huang will place a small world in the spirit field of Mount Liang. When the time comes, the palace of the human emperor will be built in the small world. A small world. Su Zhan looked away from the spiritual paper. He raised his head and looked at Qin Shujian with astonishment in his eyes. Chapter 623. As for the small world, Su Zhan knew a little about it. After all, the elder of the imperial astronomer was not a country bumpkin. But what shocked him was that Qin Shujian still had a small world in his hands. For this, Su Zhan was really surprised. Qin Shujian said, Elder Su, you can rest in Liangshan City for a few days. Soon, the other masters will come one after another. At that time, you can communicate with each other in advance. This way, it will be easier to deal with the next thing. Okay. Su Zhan nodded, then stood up and cupped his hands, saying, yes, Qin Emperor, go. Qin Shujian waved his hand speechlessly. Su Zhan bowed and left. It was impossible for him to make the human emperor's palace, so Qin Shujian asked Su Zhan to come over. Not only that, he also directly asked the few grandmaster forgers in the cultivation world to come over. Regarding Qin Shujian's order, No one dared to object. The process could be said to be very smooth. Now, the masters of the various sects are waiting in Liangshan City. The fact that I am the emperor has a great impact on them. But now is not the time to summon them. When the human emperor's palace is completed, I will summon them together. Before that, don't worry too much. Qin Shujian had his own thoughts. If he wanted to meet them, then he would meet them as the human emperor. Liangshan City. Just as Qin Shujian knew, the masters of the various sects had all gathered here during this period. Great cultivators of the god martial realm, who were rarely seen in the past, could be found everywhere. Even those at the peak of the god martial arts realm, who were at the heavenly man realm, were all gathered here. Because of this reason, the guest rooms in Liangshan City were also full. With so many masters gathered in the cultivation world, it was inevitable that there would be some friction and quarrels. But no matter who it was, no one dared to make a move. Because this was Liangshan City, where the Qin Emperor was. In other words, this was under the feet of the human emperor. Who dared to be presumptuous? Even if the heavenly man realm cultivators were here, they would have to sit obediently and not dare to move. Just like the imperial city of Zhongzhou. Who dared to be presumptuous in the imperial city? It was the same logic. If Cold Mountain City was only a sect city in the past, then after Qin Shujian became the emperor, Cold Mountain City's status skyrocketed. It was now comparable to the Central Continent's imperial city. Seriously speaking, the Cold Mountain City was a six-seal Dao artifact. In terms of grade, it was enough to leave the imperial city behind. There are so many experts here. In a tea house, Chao Hong, Lu Qinghong, and the others sat there. Looking at the scene of people coming and going, they sighed with emotion. He recalled the events of the novice village a few years ago. Now look at the present. Chao Hong had an illusion that it was as if a lifetime had passed. The boss of the past was still a boss. It was just that this boss had grown to a point where even players could not hope to catch up to it. Human sovereign, Emperor Qin. Chao Hong shook his head helplessly when he recalled that he had once intended to be enemies with Qin Shujian. Looks like I won't have the chance to take revenge. It was getting harder and harder to level up now. From the time he entered the spirit martial realm, a year had passed in the game world, and he might not have the chance to level up. Looking at Qin Shujian, it was like he was sitting on a rocket. The two were not on the same level at all. It was still okay in the past. At least there was still hope to level up. But now, Chao Hong had completely given up. Lu Qinghong shook his head and laughed. Forget it. We farm bosses every day, so it is normal to be killed by bosses occasionally. It is not easy to level up now, and the cost of recruiting has increased. No one can afford to die once. Furthermore, with that person's strength, not to mention the few of us, even if there were 100,000 or 1,000,000 times more of us, we would not be his match. Players were no longer as ignorant as they used to be. Xia Yi of the human race had destroyed millions of demons and countless living beings with a single palm strike. Such strength. It was deeply engraved in the minds of every player. In front of such an expert, the number of people seemed like a joke. Qin Shujian might not have reached such a level, but as the human sovereign, an expert who stood at the peak of the human race, his strength would not be too far off. The so-called Qin Alliance destruction. It had already dissipated. As time passed, there wasn't much resentment left in the novice village. Plus, Qin Shujian's strength was so strong that it made people despair, so there was nothing left to say. The player at the same table said, I heard that Qin Shujian is going to do something big? Where did you get the news from? Lu Qinghong tilted his head and was a little surprised. When that player heard that, he smiled and said, I have a friend who is a disciple of Yuan sect. He said that he heard some news from the elders, but he is not sure about the specifics. But look at now, so many experts have come. It is impossible that there is nothing going on. Hearing that, Chao Hong and the others nodded slightly. Indeed, in such a situation, there was definitely going to be something big. The purpose of their visit this time was to take advantage of this opportunity to gain some benefits. At the very least, it would be good to be able to connect with some god martial realm and even celestial being experts. The players seemed to be progressing well, but in reality, only the players themselves knew that everything in this place cost money. Cultivating martial arts required money. Cultivating martial arts required money. Finding someone to guide them required money. Even medicinal pills and other things required money. The better ones were the players who joined the sections. They had the chance to do some missions and learn some cultivation techniques and martial arts. However, there were some sects that were extremely repulsive towards players. This also led to not every player had the chance to enter a sect. As for solo players, it was even harder. Although Chao Hong and the others had gotten a position in the imperial court, they were no different from temporary workers. So, if they could get some fortuitous encounters here, they could save a few years of hard work. Within Liangshan City, there were plenty of players with such thoughts. Apart from the players, there were also many aristocratic family disciples who wanted to come and see if there was a chance to find an expert to be their disciple. On the streets, two groups of people met. Banqing was stunned when he saw the person who came. Then, he cupped his hands and smiled. "Are you sect leader Qi?" Hearing that, Qi Tianqing was also startled. He immediately returned the greeting and said, "Greetings, Brother Qi." As the sect leader of the Covering Sea sect, he was actually of the same generation as Banqing. It was just that the other party had broken through to the heaven realm when his lifespan was about to run out, while he was still at the peak of the divine martial realm. Banqing said, "It's been many years since we last met. I didn't expect to meet sect leader Qi in Liangshan City. This is also a kind of fate." Brother Ian is joking. Qi Tianqing smiled and said, "Speaking of which, Brother Ian has broken through to the heaven realm. I haven't had the chance to come to the Bayun mansion to congratulate you." Haha. Banqing laughed heartily. He was obviously in a good mood. Then, he looked at the cultivators of the Covering Sea sect and said, "Where is sect leader Qi going? We just arrived at Liangshan City. How do we find a place to stay? If that's the case, sect leader Qi doesn't need to trouble himself. My traceless sect has also booked an inn. How about you and I go together?" "It's not appropriate to disturb Brother Ian." "What's wrong with that?" Banqing waved his hand and pretended to be displeased. Seeing this, Qi Tianqing didn't refuse and led the disciples of the Covering Sea sect to meet up with the people of the traceless sect. After arriving at the inn, Qi Tianqing sent all the disciples away and entered the guest room to rest. The disciples of the traceless sect did the same. Only 3 people sat down in the lobby. One was Banqing, one was Jing Bianyun, and the other was Qi Tianqing. Compared to Banqing and Qi Tianqing, when it came to seniority, Jing Bianyun was a generation younger than the two of them, but he was the sect leader of the traceless sect. It was impossible for him to call Qi Tianqing senior, so they were on the same level. It seemed a little complicated, but to put it bluntly, they were on their own. After the 3 of them sat down, Banqing's expression changed a little. He said in a deep voice, "Has sect leader Qi heard any news about Senior Si? Si Hanhai became famous thousands of years ago. In front of the other party, he also had to call him senior. Originally, after breaking through to the heaven realm, even if Si Hanhai's seniority was higher, Banqing could still talk to him as an equal. But the problem was, Si Hanhai was not an ordinary heaven realm expert. Now in the northern continent, there were no less than a few powerful figures who had fallen in his hands. As for ordinary heaven realm experts, there were even more. So in the face of such an expert, Banqing still had a certain level of respect. At the mention of Si Hanhai, Qi Tianqing could no longer maintain the expression on his face. He became distressed. "Sai, there is no news at all. I have tried to send people to contact him, but there was no effect at all." Speaking of which, this was also the pain in the hearts of the Tuahai sect and Qi Tianqing. Originally, the stronger Si Hanhai was, the greater the benefits for the Tuahai sect. Especially now that he had killed a powerful figure, if he could return to the Tuahai sect, the sect's strength would definitely increase greatly. But the problem was, Si Hanhai was now a completely different person. As a result, this caused the Tuahai sect to lose a top expert. In addition to the battle of the human clan in the eastern continent, they lost another group of cultivators. As a result, the current Tuahai sect, their strength had dropped by more than half. If it were not for the original order of the imperial court, the Tuahai sect would not be able to stabilize their position as the top sect in the Eastern Pattern Prefecture. But even so, the Tuahai sect was now in imminent danger. The sects in the Eastern Pattern Prefecture were afraid of the imperial court's order and did not dare to make a move openly. But secretly, they were constantly nibbling away the power of the Tuahai sect. As a result, the Tuahai sect was now on the surface. Behind the scenes, it had reached a point where it was difficult to maintain. All of this, it was all caused by Si Hanhai's disappearance. If he was still here, the Tuahai sect would definitely not have such a problem. Embark sighed and said, I did not expect Senior C's disappearance at all. But I once heard that Senior C had left the human clan and established the demon clan. I don't know if this news is true or false. Nonsense. Qi Tianqing's expression changed and he shouted sternly, Martial Uncle is from the human clan. This is something that no one can change. How could he leave the human clan and establish the demon clan? This is a rumor. Someone else wants to harm the Tuahai sect. Whether this was true or not, the Tuahai sect absolutely could not admit it. If that was the case, then the situation that was already difficult to maintain would completely collapse. Seeing Qi Tianqing's slightly agitated mood, Embark did not say anything. Sect Master Qi, don't be agitated. I only heard rumors. Senior C wholeheartedly served the human clan. How could he become the demon clan? Sect Master Qi, you can ignore this nonsense. Hearing this, Qi Tianqing's agitated expression calmed down again. He knew that he had lost control just now, so he did not say much about this matter. Alas, Martial Uncle's whereabouts are unknown. Those sects in the East Pattern Prefecture are now coveting the position of the Tuahai sect. They are secretly encroaching on the Tuahai sect's position. Now the Tuahai sect is in a difficult situation. During this period, I have not been able to eat or sleep well, so after hearing about Martial Uncle's matter, I still lost control of my emotions. I hope Brother Ian does not take offense. How dare they do this? Embark was furious. Senior C fought for the human clan, which is why his whereabouts are unknown. However, during the battle in the Eastern continent, the human clan also killed mighty figures and many heavenly beings of the foreign clans. Many people from the Sea Overturning sect also died because of this. The names of these people are still engraved on the monument. Under such circumstances, there are still sects that dare to harm the Tuahai sect. Do they really think that there is no one in the human clan? If Embark was just pretending to be angry at the beginning, then he was really angry at the end. Now the war had begun. It was hard to say when an expert would fall. Now it was the Tuahai sect. If one day he fell, the Traceless sect would be persecuted by other sections. Seeing this, Qi Tianqing smiled bitterly and said, Brother Ian, don't be agitated. To be honest, I don't have any evidence. This time, I heard that the person in the Yuan sect has already become the emperor. I wanted to come and see the emperor of the Tuahai sect and tell him the difficulties of the Tuahai sect to see if there is any room for negotiation. Sect Master Qi, don't worry. The emperor of the Qin dynasty will naturally give you a satisfactory answer. Embark said in a deep voice, it's just that the emperor of the Qin dynasty is not receiving guests now. The Yuan sect is also preparing to build the palace. According to my estimation, the emperor of the Qin dynasty will not show up before the palace is completed. However, since Sect Master Qi is already here, there's no need to rush. Sigh, that's all we can do. I'm afraid we'll have to bother the two of you for a long time. Haha, Sect Master Qi, you're being too polite. More than half a month passed. More and more experts gathered in Cold Mountain City. The Tuahai sect had already arrived, let alone the other sections. Fortunately, Cold Mountain City was no longer the small city it used to be. After being rebuilt, Cold Mountain City covered an area of thousands of miles. It was truly a majestic city. It could accommodate some experts in the cultivation world. There was no problem at all. However, as time passed, more and more cultivators arrived, causing Cool Mountain City to become more and more crowded. There was news from the Qinyuan sacred ground, although it was not completely revealed. However, the experts of various sects gathered in Cold Mountain City, causing other cultivators to think that there would be some kind of celebration here. so they swarmed over. 1 spread to 10. 10 spread to 100. In the end, things had completely changed. This led to the end. Cold Mountain City could not accommodate so many people, so they had to let others go to the nearest city to stay. In the main sect, during this time, Qin Shujian still did not give up on studying the ancient immortal ring. At the same time, his life source was also increasing by around 3 billion every day. More than 20 days later, he already had 70 to 80 billion life sources. At this moment, Qin Shujian also checked his own attributes. Name: Qin Shujian. Title: Emperor. Qin identity: Sect Master of the Human Emperor's Origin. Sect affiliation: Human Emperor's Origin. Sect faction. Level 5 Realm: Level 5 of the Heavenly Human Realm. Cultivation Techniques: Godlike Cultivation Techniques. Origin: Returning Ancestral Canon. 45th Stage: Astral Manifestation. Level 15 Impenetrable: Red Lotus of Purgation. Level 15 Martial Arts: 5 Elements. 8 Trigram Steps. Tao Initiation. 7 Leaf Flower Piercing Palm. Tao Initiation. Golden Immortal Soul Shattering Chant. Greater Heights. Low-grade Divine Rank. Plus. Godlike Martial Arts. Spirit Severing. 70%. Plus. Level 9 Immaculate Indestructible Body. Peak. Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth. 8th Stage. Plus. Heavenly Cloud God Sealing Finger. Peak. Special Martial Arts. Celestial Light Alchemy Tome. Alchemy Grandmaster. Ancestral Smithing Canon. Forging Grandmaster. Array Grandmaster. Hidden Passage Secret Technique. Level 5. Plus. Special Abilities. Dharma Eye. True Intent of Saber Life Source. 786521453321 Luck Value. 0-inch 78 billion life sources. There aren't many martial arts that can be improved. Forget about the Golden Immortal Soul Shattering Chant. It's just a shotgun martial art, and its level is too low. It won't be of much use. Only Spirit Severing and Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth can be improved. As for the Hidden Passage Secret Technique, it won't be of much use either. Qin Shujian looked at his own attributes and made an accurate judgment. With his current strength, unless it was a godlike martial art, the other martial arts would be useless. Even the Golden Immortal Soul Shattering Chant. It might not be as useful as him shouting. As for the Hidden Passage Secret Technique, it was a technique for creating zombies. However, creating zombies required corpses. Qin Shujian didn't even have enough outsider corpses for himself, much less enough to create zombies. As for the corpses, which he disdained to refine, there was no need for him to create zombies. Low-level zombies weren't even qualified to be cannon fodder. High-level zombies. He also needed the corpses of powerful experts. After thinking it over, the Hidden Passage Secret Technique could be considered a fairly useless martial art. As for Spirit Severing and Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth, they were the targets for improvement. Godlike martial arts required a significant amount of life sources, especially the last few stages, which added up to tens of billions of life sources. Spirit Severing is based on my own strength. Only then will I be able to unleash the corresponding power. However, based on my current strength, using Spirit Severing against powerful experts like Demon Emperors wouldn't be very effective. After all, with my current spiritual divinity power, it would be very difficult to shake experts of that level. As for experts below the Demon Emperor level, I can subdue them on my own. Spirit Severing experts are even less necessary. As for true immortals, there's no need for that. After thinking it over, this martial art is temporarily useless. Well, it's not completely useless. It's just that it's not very useful. Then the only thing that can be improved is Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth. Qin Shujian looked at Lawful Embodiment of Heaven and Earth. This godlike martial art was still very impressive. If it could be improved to perfection, it might not necessarily be inferior to the 9 Tribulations Immortal Body. No, not only would it not be inferior, it would definitely be stronger than the 9 Tribulations Immortal Body. This was what Qin Shujian felt. He would do it as soon as he thought of it. Originally, he had planned to use his life sources to improve the level of the formation. However, there was no need for that now. With a ready-made minor world in hand, there was no need to improve the level of the formation. With that thought in mind, 76. 8 billion life sources were all used up. Lawful embodiment of heaven and earth rose from the 8th stage to the 10th stage. The 10th stage of lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. A huge amount of information forced its way into Qin Shujian's mind. Soon, this information was refined by him. Lawful embodiment of heaven and earth has been perfected. Permanently double one's strength. Qin Shujian looked at the notification in his mind and gasped in his heart. Permanently double one's strength. What did this mean? If he used lawful embodiment of heaven and earth when his combat power was 30,000, he could reach 60,000. When his combat power was 50,000, he could reach 100,000. Furthermore, this buff would never change. One had to know. As a cultivator's strength increased, the ratio of the increase of some cultivation methods would gradually decrease. This was an inevitable trend. Although lawful embodiment of heaven and earth seemed to have increased his strength by a lot now. However, as long as he advanced to celestial being level 6 or even celestial being level 7, Qin Shujian was sure. The original increase of lawful embodiment of heaven and earth would definitely decrease. However, it was different now. The perfected lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. It could permanently double one's strength. In other words, no matter when, he would be able to double his strength, if it was stacked with rule-bending power. Thinking of that situation, a carefree smile appeared on Qin Shujian's face. At the same time, he took a look at his combat power on the heaven leaderboard. Name: Qin Shujian race, human age, 31 realm, celestial being level 5 combat power, 36,000 talent evaluation. Excellent when his 9 tribulations immortal body was perfected. Qin Shujian's combat power had already reached 36,000. He was completely at the level of a top-notch omnipotent being. 34,000 combat power combined with lawful embodiment of heaven and earth and rule-bending power. If the Shifter Emperor doesn't have any other trump cards, he shouldn't be a match for me. However, how can the Emperor of a race not have any trump cards? No matter what, my strength is not a problem. This was Qin Shujian's confidence. Now that the true immortals didn't appear, there was almost no one who could suppress him. No, perhaps Zhao Huang could. However, Qin Shujian didn't think that he was necessarily weaker than the other party. When he looked at the ancient immortal ring again, Qin Shujian finally stood up for the first time after half a month of meditation. Everyone, get up and leave the sect immediately. No mistakes are allowed. At this moment, everyone in the main sect received a voice transmission. Those elders and disciples didn't hesitate and immediately left the main sect. They weren't sure what Qin Shujian was going to do, but they knew. If they didn't listen, what would happen to them? In just 10 minutes, there was no one left in the main sect. Only Mu Yang, who was in the secret realm, and Jiang Feng, who was sitting at the mountain gate, were left. As for these two, Qin Shujian wasn't worried. No matter what, they were diviners. Nothing would happen to them. As for the other sect disciples, Qin Shujian was afraid that when he released the small world later, the aftermath would shock them to death. That would be fun. After everyone left, Qin Shujian simply put away his courtyard. Then, he took another step forward and put away the book collection pavilion. The heaven list could store things. Its effect was similar to the storage ring. However, Qin Shujian rarely used the heaven list. He preferred to use the storage ring because it was more dignified to wear it on his hand. But when necessary, the heaven list was more reliable than the storage ring. He put away everything that should be collected. Qin Shujian walked to a wide area. In the next moment, he used the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. Boom! A towering giant suddenly appeared in everyone's line of sight. That horrifying power. It directly caused Mount Liang to shake. The defensive formation that was set up flashed crazily, as if it was enduring a pressure that a formation of this level shouldn't be able to endure. Such an unforeseen event. It directly shook the entire Mount Liang spirit region. Everyone raised their heads at the same time. Their faces were filled with shock as they looked at the towering figure that pierced through the clouds. That's Qin Shi Huang. Is this our clan's human emperor? What terrifying power! What is Qin Shi Huang doing? Looking at that 10,000 feet tall body, All the cultivators felt a shock, as if they had been struck by an impact. That terrifying aura. Even if Qin Shujian didn't deliberately spread it out, it still made it difficult for people to breathe. However, while they were shocked by Qin Shujian's power, they also wanted to know what his purpose was. In Mount Liang City, Yin Banqing raised his head and looked at the towering figure. He sighed and said, "What a shocking power!" In front of that power, he felt that he wasn't a diviner, but a powerless mortal. Although Yin Banqing already knew, the difference between a diviner and a diviner was huge. However, when he faced this kind of power again, his mind was still shaken. Everyone thinks that when you break through to the diviner realm, you will be at the top of the world. Who knows that even if you break through by luck, you still don't have the power to control your own fate. Being at the top of the world is even more of a joke. Only an existence like Qin Shihuang can control the rise and fall of a clan and change fate. Yin Banqing sighed in admiration. When the surrounding people heard this, their expressions were complicated. While Jing Bianyun was shocked, his heart was also trembling violently. He thought of some thoughts that he shouldn't have. When he saw Qin Shujian's current abyss-like aura, he was already scared. Fortunately, he didn't act on impulse. Otherwise, the traceless sect was gone now. Yin Banqing wasn't the only diviner who came to Mount Liang City this time. There were only a few diviners left in the cultivation world. Almost all of them were here now. After seeing Qin Shujian use the celestial body, they felt the same as Yin Banqing. At this moment, Qin Shujian took out the ancient immortal ring. With a simple squeeze, the ring made of void stone directly shattered. The moment the ancient immortal ring shattered, the void collapsed. Endless power fell from it. At that moment, everyone felt as if the sky had collapsed. There was nothing, but there was an indescribable pressure. Only some powerful cultivators could use their divine sense to detect some clues. Qin Shujian's heart sank. He raised his hands and held up the falling small world. The so-called formless and intangible small world. It would only appear after it was attached to heaven and earth. Before this, the small world could be touched. Suddenly, Qin Shujian felt a terrifying force falling down. His body shook crazily. The light of countless arrays in the entire Mount Liang under his feet burst out and then collapsed inch by inch. The moment the array shattered, the sturdy mountain of Mount Liang also shook violently. Rolling rocks fell. Not long after, it was already full of cracks. Qin Shujian didn't care about the changes in Mount Liang at all. Once the small world became something under his control, one Liang mountain was dispensable. However, the power of the falling world was simply unimaginable to ordinary people. Even if the celestial body was pushed to the limit, Qin Shujian was still barely holding on. His arms trembled violently. Tao rhymes flowed on his skin, faintly cracking. This is what you said. It shouldn't be a problem. Right now, he only wanted to greet Godslayer's family. Fortunately, he was quick-witted and cultivated the ninth order undying body to perfection in advance. Then, he cultivated the celestial body to perfection. Or else, the moment the world fell, he, the Qin Emperor, would have to kneel. However, Qin Shujian didn't have the time to scold Godslayer. He really didn't have the strength to do so. He finally saw it clearly. To hold up a world, relying on his battle power of more than 60,000 was still not enough. Since 60,000 battle power is not enough, then 100,000 battle power should be no problem. Qin Shujian gritted his teeth. Boom! The long river of laws broke through the air. At this moment, the power of heaven and earth directly attached to his body. In an instant, endless power surged from his body. Qin Shujian's originally stooped back instantly straightened. Bang! Mount Liang shattered. Qin Shujian held the small world in his hand. Then, according to Godslayer's instructions, he directly threw the void stone fragments left behind by the ancient divine ring into the space in front of him. The void stone was indeed a treasure that could corrode the barrier of heaven and earth. When it was violently thrown into the space, the stable space was completely shattered. That corrosive power, it even corroded a large hole in the barrier of heaven and earth behind the void. Now, Qin Shujian saw the opportunity. He directly held the small world and threw it at the large hole that had appeared. Boom! Heaven and earth shook. At the time when the small world crashed into the space, the barrier of heaven and earth that should have been invisible seemed to appear in front of everyone in an instant. The colorful light was dazzling, but it disappeared in an instant. After smashing the small world into the void, Qin Shujian also took a step forward and entered the space behind the shattered space. In an instant, the 10,000-foot-tall giant had disappeared without a trace. All that was left was the space above the shattered Liang Mountain, where the turbulence in the void was wreaking havoc. This scene, it made everyone look at each other. They did not understand what Qin Shujian was doing. Only Su Zhan could vaguely guess something. It is said that the small world is shapeless and intangible. If that is the case, the shapeless thing that Qin Shihuang held in his hand was a small world. Then, where did Qin Shihuang take the small world now? Although he was an elder of the imperial astronomer, he did not fully understand the small world. After all, only true immortals could create a small world. And 200,000 years ago, all the true immortals of the human race had died. In addition, the human race had suffered many disasters. Their inheritance was not complete. To know about the small world, it was not easy. Su Zhan had no way of knowing more things. Su Zhan did not know. The others did not know either. As for the disciples of the main sect, when Mount Liang collapsed and turned into the void turbulence, their expressions became blank. The main sect is gone? The main sect was gone. No. The collection they had left in the main sect seemed to be gone too. Not everyone had a storage ring. Not everyone would carry their own treasures with them. Most of the time, these things were all placed in their respective residences. But now, Mount Liang was gone. How could those treasures that were stored be left behind? Thinking of this, those disciples felt stifled. Zhang Fang and the others had strange expressions on their faces. They did not feel much about the destruction of Mount Liang, because the one who destroyed the mountain was Qin Shujian. If it was someone else, they would have already gone up and fought with their lives. Calm down and wait for Qin Shihuang to return. Niu Feng looked at the other disciples and shouted coldly. Hearing this, those disciples immediately fell silent. On the other side, Qin Shujian had already walked through the hole in the void stone's corrosion. He took a step in. He found himself in the middle of an endless void. There was no up or down. There also seemed to be no passage of time. This is outside of heaven and earth. Qin Shujian's mind was shaken. This was the first time he had walked out of heaven and earth. However, before he could see much, an invisible wave came, causing Qin Shujian's body to tremble violently. A terrifying feeling surged from his heart, causing his entire body to tremble. At the same time, he found that he seemed to be a bit tired and had a feeling of drowsiness. Don't waste time. Quickly install the small world at the space gap that is about to close. Outside of heaven and earth is the god-destroying astral wind. Cultivators who have not transformed their immortal bodies will not be able to resist the corrosion of the astral wind. Godslayer's solemn voice came from his knowledge sea. Qin Shujian instantly woke up. He did not have time to ask what the god-destroying astral wind was. Instead, he turned around and saw that what appeared in front of him was a colorful barrier. In front of the barrier, there was a gap. It was a gap in space caused by the corrosion of the void stone. However, as time passed, the gap was slowly being repaired. Seeing this, Qin Shujian did not dare to hesitate any longer. He instantly lifted the small world and moved it closer to the gap in heaven and earth. It was different from before when he broke the void. This time, he moved much more gently, as if he was afraid that he would break the barrier of heaven and earth. The two touched. An invisible wave spread out. The small world seemed to have grown countless roots, firmly attaching itself to heaven and earth. Also at this time, another wave of formless energy surged forth. Qin Shujian only felt his vision go black, as if he would faint at any time. In his knowledge sea, the Heaven List and Godslayer both emitted a weak wave, waking him up immediately. Now that the small world has not recognized a master, it can let any creature enter. Quickly enter the small world to hide. and then recognized the world as its master immediately to prevent the extraterrestrial demons from entering. Godslayer said in a deep voice. Without hesitation, Qin Shi Jian took a step forward and was already heading toward the small world in front of him. Only invisible waves could be seen spreading. The next moment, Qin Shi Jian disappeared into the void. Just as he was about to leave, another wave of even stronger waves surged, causing the void to fluctuate violently. The small world was firmly attached to heaven and earth and was not affected too much. P.S. Third update. This month's update has more than 500,000 words. Personally, I feel that I'm working very hard. Chapter 624. Vast Heaven and Earth. The extremely dense spiritual chi condensed into a light blue cloud in the sky, and above the spiritual energy clouds, the long river of laws was vast and mighty, as if it ran through heaven and earth. Looking at other places, rivers surged, mountains rose and fell. Apart from the lack of life aura, it was like a new world. Is this a small world? Qin Shi Jian looked at the surrounding scene and took a deep breath. He had seen many small worlds, but this was the first time he had seen a small world like this one. Compared to the 3 small worlds in Heavenly Pattern Island, the small world in front of him, it was more like a complete world. Unfortunately, it lacks the aura of life. Qin Shi Jian spread out his spirit sense and shook his head regretfully. But thinking about it, it was normal. Life was the most important thing in a world. Perhaps when the world was first opened, there would be a true immortal placed life inside. But after so many years, life must have fallen. Because the small world was not a complete world, it lacked the most important thing. Reincarnation. Immediately, Qin Shi Jian looked up at the sky. It was the surging long river of laws. That long river of laws should be left behind by Senior Xia Yi. It should be. Godslayer said indifferently. This small world is not attached to heaven and earth, but it can produce spiritual energy without dissipating. It is also the credit of that law. Otherwise, this world would not have such a scene. Senior, what do you mean? Qin Shi Jian was puzzled. The small world's matters were already beyond his scope. However, Qin Shi Jian was shameless in asking questions. He did a good job. The god-slaying saber said, I told you before that the most important thing in a world is reincarnation. This reincarnation is not just the reincarnation of living beings. Do you think that other than living beings, other existences do not have reincarnation? Actually, that is not the case. Spiritual energy will have reincarnation, plants will have reincarnation, and mountains will also have reincarnation. In this world, there is nothing that can be immortal. However, in the eyes of all living things, perhaps you can't see their reincarnation. Simply put, if there is an independent small world, even if the spiritual energy inside is very rich, because it has to maintain the existence of the world, the spiritual energy inside will gradually dry up and eventually disappear. Once the spiritual chi is gone, the small world will slowly walk towards its end. One day, it will directly collapse and cease to exist. The reason for such a situation is because there are no rules in the world. Everything has no order, and there is no reincarnation. This was also the reason why every small world was attached to a complete world. This was because only by attaching itself to a complete world could a small world borrow the complete laws of the world to nurture itself, turning a small world with incomplete laws into a complete world. However, this transformation was not permanent. As long as this small world was separated from the world, everything would return to its original state. In other words, small worlds were independent of the world and had to rely on the world to survive. Without the support of the laws of the world, any small world would walk towards destruction. At most, it would be a matter of time. Godslayer did not stop talking. Qin Shi Jian finally understood what was going on. At this moment, he looked at the long river of laws in the sky and said in a deep voice, in other words, the reason why this small world is still intact is because of the existence of this long river of laws. That's right. When a world is endowed with laws, it has the capital to evolve into a real world. At least it won't be that easy to decay and destroy. However, a complete world needs more than just one law. You have seen the mother river of laws. There are countless laws in it, and it is very difficult to evolve a complete world. The god-slaying saber added. Hearing this, a sentence emerged in Qin Shujian's mind, and he could not help but say, Tao begets one, one begets two, two begets three, and three begets all things. Where did you hear this sentence from? Godslayer was surprised and immediately said, That's right, the evolution of the world is the principle you said. However, it is not easy to evolve one Tao into 10,000 Taos. Perhaps when you reach the level above the laws, you can evolve a complete mother river of laws and then open up a world. However, before you reach that level, it is almost impossible to reach this level. Above the laws again. After being mentioned by Godslayer many times, Qin Shujian also had a lot of yearning for this realm. If above the laws, if he really was at the creator realm, then when he reached this realm, he might be able to achieve true eternal life. Regarding this, Qin Shujian also had a desire. After all, eternal life had always been his goal. In his opinion, only endless life was qualified to talk about other things. Otherwise, everything was fake. After understanding the existence of small worlds, Qin Shujian said, Then how do I recognize a small world as its master? Any world is the core. You can explore it with your divine sense and then brand it with your own brand. Then this world will be under your control. Godslayer said, As long as the world is under your control, it will not be open to other creatures and can also prevent the extraterritorial demons from entering this place. Seeing this, Qin Shujian also spread out his divine sense and then looked for the core that Godslayer was talking about. This world was very big. At least when his divine sense spread out, it did not completely touch the boundary. Qin Shujian could only expand his divine sense as he walked. While he was exploring, he did not forget to communicate with Godslayer. What are the extraterritorial demons you mentioned? Are they the demons of the demon abyss? Demons are demons, and extraterritorial demons are extraterritorial demons. The two are not the same. Godslayer said indifferently. Walking in the small world, Qin Shujian easily crossed thousands of rivers and mountains. Then what are extraterritorial demons? For novel things. He could not help but want to know more. Godslayer said, Extraterritorial demons are a kind of creature that exists in the extraterritorial void. After all, the world will give birth to creatures, and the extraterritorial void will give birth to creatures as well. Some experts once guessed that there might be an even vaster law in the extraterritorial void, the mother stream. But this guess has never been confirmed, but I think it should be true. Because extraterritorial demons are also creatures, and in order to give birth to creatures, they must have a complete law. Extraterritorial demons can be born in the extraterritorial void because they have a complete law. But compared to the world, the extraterritorial void is more vast. Besides the sun and the moon, even the stars in the sky exist there. The stars we see in the world are just what we see outside through the barrier of the world. Godslayer knew about these things. He knew a lot. Because he had followed too many experts, it was extremely common for some experts to want to set foot in the extraterritorial void. Qin Shujian thought about Godslayer's words, then continued, Then besides extraterritorial demons, are there other creatures in the extraterritorial void? I heard that there are extraterritorial fierce beasts, but I'm not sure. After all, the extraterritorial void is too vast. Even if there are creatures in it, it's not easy to encounter them. Godslayer suddenly paused. By the way, can you let me out? I'm a little tired of staying in your sea of consciousness every day. Qin Shujian was speechless. Tired of staying? How long has it been since you entered my sea of consciousness? You've stayed in a small world with nothing in it for millions of years. Why aren't you tired of it? He wanted to say to Godslayer, You're too arrogant. After thinking about it, Qin Shujian decided not to provoke him. After all, he was very interested in what Godslayer was saying now. If he angered him, that wouldn't be good. Silently, the god-slaying saber came out of the sea of consciousness. Then, a young man appeared, then held a stone knife and walked beside Qin Shujian. Seeing this, Qin Shujian's mouth twitched slightly. It was the first time he saw someone transform into a body and then talk about his original body. It's really a good small world. Looking at the surrounding scenery, Godslayer sighed with emotion, and his mood improved a little. He didn't need Qin Shujian to take the initiative to ask, and he continued what he had just said. Let's not talk about other things. Let me tell you about the extraterritorial demons. Unlike the demons of the demon abyss, the extraterritorial demons specialize in corrupting people's spirit and mind, then parasitizing living creatures. Any living creature parasitized by the extraterritorial demons will completely lose their nature, and they are extremely cruel and bloodthirsty, often causing endless slaughter. Moreover, the extraterritorial demons can devour the laws of heaven and earth. If a world is invaded by a large number of extraterritorial demons, then this world may be headed for destruction. Devour laws? Qin Shujian's expression changed. What were laws? They were existences that only perfected immortals could completely control. In the end, you're telling me that the extraterritorial demons can devour laws. Wouldn't that make them invincible? He saw through Qin Shujian's thoughts. Godslayer shook his head and said, "It's not what you think. The extraterritorial demons can devour laws, but all things have a counter, and laws are also the nemesis of the extraterritorial demons. Not all extraterritorial demons are strong enough to devour laws that have an owner. Most of the weaker evil devils were silently nibbling away at the ownerless natural laws. Anyway, in general, if you encounter an extraterritorial demon, don't hesitate to use your laws to fight against it. If you can easily suppress it, then kill it. If you fight for a while and find that your law power is being devoured, then there's still hope of winning. If your law power is like a clay ox entering the sea, then run as far as you can." Your summary is really comprehensive. Qin Shujian complained in his heart, but he had to admit that Godslayer's method seemed to be the most practical. How strong can the most powerful extraterritorial demons be? I'm not sure. Anyway, in ancient times, there was an extraterritorial emperor who fell in the hands of the extraterritorial demons. In the end, the Emperor of Heaven personally killed him. That battle was also tragic. Godslayer said. Hearing that, Qin Shujian's pupils shrank. An extraterritorial emperor. The emperors of ancient times were not the half-baked emperors of the various races now. The emperors of that time, they were at least perfected immortals in the middle 3 grades, or even the upper 3 grades. None of them were weaker than Xia Yi at his peak, or even stronger. Such a powerhouse. If they could be devoured by the extraterritorial demons, then the power of these demons was too strong. If there are really such powerful demons, can't they break the barrier of heaven and earth to come in? Qin Shujian asked the question in his heart. The barrier of heaven and earth is the strongest thing. Only the creatures of heaven and earth have a chance to break the barrier. It's impossible for non-creatures of this world to break it. Of course, the existence above the rules may be able to. Godslayer thought that what he said was too absolute, so he added another sentence. Then, he said again, the extraterritorial demons generally wander around heaven and earth, looking for a gap and waiting for an opportunity to enter heaven and earth. Even the many small worlds attached to heaven and earth are their targets. But the small worlds attached to heaven and earth can absorb the power of heaven and earth to protect themselves. It's very difficult for the extraterritorial demons to break through. You just broke the barrier of heaven and earth, and now a new small world has appeared. I'm worried that the extraterritorial demons will find this place, so I want you to quickly recognize this small world as your master. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome if it attracts the extraterritorial demons. Hearing that, Qin Shujian finally couldn't help but say, Senior, why didn't you say so earlier? You should have said so earlier. If you had said so earlier, I would have opened the small world in heaven and earth, recognized it as its master first, and then done the next step. But now you're telling me. If it didn't recognize it as its master, the extraterritorial demons would attack at any time. If they provoked the demons that could devour the ancient emperors, wouldn't they all die together? What a trap. Qin Shujian now realized that this Zubing was really a huge trap sometimes. Godslayer said slowly, I'm old, and my memory has settled too much. It's normal that I can't remember sometimes. If I hadn't seen the extraterritorial void, I wouldn't have been able to recall the memories of the extraterritorial demons. Qin Shujian couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. He was not afraid, just in case. If he really attracted the extraterritorial demons, that would be great. At this moment, Qin Shujian had already explored the entire area, and his divine sense was constantly going deep into heaven and earth. About half an hour passed. He suddenly found that his divine sense had entered a mysterious space. There was nothing there, but the moment he entered the space, Qin Shujian felt that he could overlook the entire world. It's here. Even if he hadn't really seen the core of heaven and earth, he immediately knew what this place was. Without hesitation, he inserted his divine sense imprint into it. In an instant, heaven and earth shook, and invisible waves spread out in all directions from the core of heaven and earth. Very soon, Qin Shujian felt that he was in control of everything. He simply closed his eyes. He could sense every movement in heaven and earth. This small world is not small. It's as big as several young mountain spirit protectorates. Soon, Qin Shujian woke up from his perception. He was very satisfied with the vastness of the small world. The Liang Mountain Spirit Protectorates covered an area of about 100,000 miles. After all, there were a few old True Dominion merged together. In addition, over the past few years, a few more True Dominion and Ordinary Dominion had been assimilated, and the area had expanded a lot. If the Liang Mountain Spirit Protectorates were to be compared to 100,000 miles, this place was about 400,000 to 500,000 miles, which was considered very vast. After all, this was a small world. Qin Shujian didn't intend to make it the habitat of the human race in the future. He just wanted to transform it into the Qinyuan sacred ground. Heaven and earth have no name. In the future, this will be called the Qinyuan realm. Great Qinyuan, beginning of all resources. As Qin Shujian finished speaking, the Qinyuan realm shook slightly. However, it soon calmed down. However, the shaking didn't calm down for long before it started shaking again. Qin Shujian's expression changed slightly. His mind hurriedly sank into the Qinyuan realm. Immediately, he saw the scene outside through the Qinyuan realm. He saw that in the void of heaven and earth, there was something that looked like a black shadow that wrapped the entire Qinyuan realm. It seemed to be gnawing and colliding. Extraterritorial fiend. The moment he saw the black shadow, Qin Shujian had a thought in his mind. Soon, he withdrew from the core of heaven and earth. His expression became serious. It seems like an extraterritorial fiend has really come. Really? Godslayer was also slightly shocked. Then, he looked at the shaking Qinyuan realm and knew that his question was unnecessary. Qin Shujian said, Are extraterritorial fiends like the Black Shadow? That's right. Extraterritorial fiends are like black shadows, attached to heaven and earth. Godslayer nodded and then said happily, Also, you have to recognize the Qinyuan realm as your master. Otherwise, if the extraterritorial fiends attack, you will be in big trouble. At least you don't need this small world anymore. He was also glad. Qin Shujian was one step ahead. Otherwise, he and the other party would have to flee. Godslayer didn't think that he couldn't defeat the extraterritorial fiend. He was just afraid that Qin Shujian couldn't defeat the extraterritorial fiend. If Qin Shujian was corroded, then it would be difficult for him to rely on his lone Zubing to play a big role. Feeling the Qinyuan realm shaking, Qin Shujian said worriedly, There won't be a problem, right? Don't worry. The small world can borrow the power of heaven and earth. How can it be so easy to break through? Even if the strongest extraterritorial fiend comes, it will be easy to break through the defense of the small world. If you feel that it's not enough, you can even open the entrance of the small world to heaven and earth and draw on the laws of heaven and earth. At that time, the defensive power will be further increased. But if you do that, your Qinyuan realm will be completely open to outsiders. They might be able to come in at will. Godslayer said, There was such a thing. Qin Shujian could only sigh. Learning is never too late. Since Godslayer said that there was no problem, then there was no problem. But now he understood how difficult it was to deal with the extraterritorial fiends. Then, Qin Shujian thought of the scene when he split open the Black Stone's secret realm. If there were extraterritorial fiends passing by at that time, would they be able to enter the world through the Black Stone's secret realm? After thinking about it, there was really such a possibility. However, Qin Shujian didn't pay too much attention to it. When it came to the battle, the secret realm would still be broken. At the very least, he had to completely cut off the other party's connection with heaven and earth, and then let the small world wander in the extraterritorial void. According to Godslayer, if the small world was separated from heaven and earth, it would die sooner or later. It was just the difference between dying early and dying late. Looking at the shaking Qinyuan realm, Qin Shujian couldn't help but ask again, those extraterritorial fiends won't keep gnawing on, right? No. If they can't gnaw on it, they will gnaw on another world. After all, the extraterritorial fiends also need to survive. They can't hang themselves in front of a world. As long as you can't gnaw on it, there won't be any other extraterritorial fiends coming to gnaw on it easily in the future. Because there are already extraterritorial fiends who can't gnaw on it, the ones who come later won't cause trouble for themselves. After all, the extraterritorial fiends are also intelligent. Otherwise, how could they parasitize living creatures? Godslayer said calmly. Anyway, if they couldn't gnaw on it, they would leave on their own. There was no need to worry. Hearing that, Qin Shujian was completely relieved. The threat of the extraterritorial fiends could be ignored. The only thing he had to do now was to deal with the half of the Rule River in front of him. Emperor Zhao is too pretentious. He doesn't want the Rule River, and I don't feel at ease giving it to others. Do I just leave it here? Qin Shujian frowned. The Qinyuan realm was not a place where he could live alone. In the future, as the Qinyuan sacred ground, many cultivators would come here. A rule was blatantly laid out here. It was hard to guarantee that others would have bad intentions. But the problem was, if he didn't leave this half of the Rule River here, where could he leave it? Qin Shujian stood in place, looking up at the Rule River above. He was also thinking about how to solve this problem. Soon, he came back to his senses. Got it. The Rule River can't be moved, but it's fine as long as it's not touched by others. In this way, as long as I set up a sealing array under the Rule River, others won't have a chance to get close. Qin Shujian looked at the distance between the Rule River and the ground. It was about 10,000 feet. In this way, 10,000 feet below the Rule River, it would turn into an absolute sealing domain. The remaining 90,000 feet was for people to fly in the air. With this calculation, it was just right. He just had to do it. Qin Shujian's vast divine consciousness spread out. Endless array patterns were derived from the void and then formed a corner of the array. Immediately after, he took a step forward and arrived at another place. The same divine consciousness spread out. The same array patterns were derived. Because the divine consciousness was not enough to cover the entire Qinyuan realm, Qin Shujian spent about half an hour to set up all the array patterns. At this moment, the formation runes connected, forming a vast formation that sealed off the entire area below the long river of laws. Unless one had the strength of a 7th-level celestial being and above to forcefully attack the array, only then could this seal be broken. Otherwise, others would definitely not be able to get close to the Rule River. Once someone attacked the array, Qin Shujian would be the first to notice and not let anyone have the chance to steal it. After doing all these things, he didn't immediately go out. Instead, he carefully observed everything in the Qinyuan realm through the core of heaven and earth. No matter what, this small world had existed for hundreds of thousands of years. It was possible that Xiai had left something extra behind. Not long after, Qin Shujian's expression changed slightly. In the next moment, he appeared in a plain. The plain was vast. The grass was dense, and the trees were thriving. It looked full of vitality. After connecting with the outside world, everything in the Qinyuan realm was changing imperceptibly. It was also a scene full of vitality. The vitality in front of him was more real than when he first came in. Yes, real. If there was a difference, The vitality he saw when he first came in was more like a fixed, dead object. In the words of Qin Shujian's previous life, it was a plastic model, and the vitality he saw now was the real vitality. However, what caught Qin Shujian's attention was not the authenticity of the vitality, but what the plane had. To be precise, it was something under the plane. Spiritual vein. I didn't expect there to be a spiritual vein here. No wonder the spiritual energy here can be so dense. Having half a rule can prevent the spiritual energy from drying up. After hundreds of thousands of years of spiritual energy accumulation, a spiritual vein was born. No, maybe there were spiritual stones buried here. It was only after a long time that it evolved into a spiritual vein. A lot of guesses emerged in Qin Shujian's mind. But in fact, it didn't matter how the spiritual vein was formed. What really made him happy was that there was a spiritual vein here, and it was not a weak one. Through the core of heaven and earth, Qin Shujian could perceive that this spiritual vein was 100 miles long. Although it was not a large spiritual vein, it could barely be called a medium spiritual vein. With the existence of this spiritual vein, the spiritual energy in the Qian Yuan realm is many times denser than the outside world. Even if it covers an area of hundreds of thousands of miles, the spiritual energy will not be too distributed and become thin. If I let Mu Yang come in and take root here, the spiritual energy in the Qian Yuan realm will definitely rise again. By then, this place will be the real Holy Land. Qin Shujian smiled. A holy land above all the cultivation world was definitely not as simple as having many cultivation methods and martial arts. The cultivation environment, it was also a big factor. Soon, Qin Shujian took out the heaven list from his sea of consciousness. Immediately, he saw a faint flash of light on the heaven list, and then the space in front of him exploded. The space exploded and shattered. A huge amount of spiritual energy swarmed out from it. Then, a large number of spiritual stones fell. Finally, a giant tree appeared from it. Mu Yang. And what Qin Shujian took out from the heaven list was a secret realm that he had personally opened. Unfortunately, the small world could not accommodate other space secret realms. Once the two collided, either they would be destroyed together, or one side would be devoured by the other. It was obvious. The secret realm that Qin Shujian opened himself was a little brother in front of the Qian Yuan realm. There was no accident. There was not even the slightest stalemate. As soon as the secret realm appeared in the Qian Yuan realm, it exploded. Looking at the spiritual stones scattered everywhere, Qin Shujian moved his mind, and the plane in front of him directly cracked open, swallowing the spiritual stones, and then the crack closed again. This is a small world. Now that Mu Yang had a clear view of his surroundings, the boy clone that he had conjured had a look of astonishment on his face. About the small world, Qin Shujian didn't tell him in advance, so Mu Yang didn't know at all. Seeing the other party's confusion, Qin Shujian said, "This is the Qian Yuan realm. You will take root here in the future. There is a medium-sized spiritual vein below the plane. If you are given time, are you confident that you can nurture it into a large spiritual vein?" Hearing that, Mu Yang fell into silence. Eldar was very sensitive to spiritual energy. Even without Qin Shujian's words, he knew that there was a large spiritual vein hidden below. A moment later, Mu Yang said, "If I become a mighty figure in the future, give me 1,000 years, and I am confident that I can nurture it into a large spiritual vein. But before that, I can also let the spiritual vein grow slowly. And the spiritual energy here is rich, so the speed at which I refine the wood spirit heart should also be faster." "That's good." Qin Shujian nodded slightly. A few months had passed, and Mu Yang had already broken through from the second level of the celestial being to the third level of the celestial being. It could be said that the wood spirit heart was indeed a very abnormal cheat. It was just that the cost of making this cheat was too high, and it required the sacrifice of a half-immortal expert. Or else, Qin Shujian would be interested in making one. After all, compared to the wood spirit heart, wouldn't it be better to directly refine a half-immortal? After receiving Qin Shujian's order, Mu Yang's incarnation dispersed. His main body directly took root on the spot, and a large number of roots crazily drilled into the ground like horned dragons. Qin Shujian was not afraid that Mu Yang would be able to penetrate the Qian Yuan realm, not to mention the Eldar who was at the third level of the celestial being. Even if the half-immortal Eldar was still alive, he might not be able to do it. However, Qin Shujian still reminded him, remember not to pierce through the Qian Yuan realm, or else it will attract the outer realm demons, and then the Qian Yuan realm will be in big trouble. Qin Emperor, don't worry, I know what to do, Mu Yang said in a deep voice. With the memories of a half-immortal, how could he not know what the outer realm demons were? It could be said that, in the ancient times, half-immortals also had a very high status, and they had come into contact with a lot of things. Apart from some top-notch treasures and ancient secrets, there were no other treasures. The things he knew now were not much less than Godslayer. After Mu Yang took root, the spiritual energy in the plains became more lively. In the outside world, after Qin Shujian crashed into the void with the small world in his hand, the chaotic void gradually calmed down, and the broken space was quickly repaired. Except for the collapse of Mount Liang, there seemed to be no change. Seeing this, all the cultivators looked at the restored space, and no one dared to shift their gazes away, because they knew what Qin Shujian did just now was definitely not in vain. Even Mount Liang was destroyed. The other party must have some other purpose for doing so. The elders and disciples of the main sect were also standing in place and waiting. The main sect was destroyed. They had no other choice but to stand here and wait. Not long after, the restored space rippled like water, and then the space melted bit by bit, as if the water curtain was being unraveled. The moment the water curtain was unraveled, a terrifying spiritual energy erupted from it. In an instant, the surrounding cultivators all felt that the vital essence in their bodies had recovered at this moment. But this feeling did not last for long. Qin Shujian walked out from inside. The space that had melted was restored in an instant. For this, many people's faces revealed regret, and their eyes were filled with desire as they looked at Qin Shujian. The spiritual energy that rushed out just now, everyone could feel the vastness of it. From this, it could be seen. The place Qin Shujian came out from was definitely a holy land for cultivation. However, obviously, only the Qin Emperor in front of them could enter and leave that place at will. Qin Shujian looked around, and then came in front of Jingfeng and the others. Qin Emperor. Yes, now that Mount Liang has been destroyed, everyone in the main sect should follow Ben Huang to another place. Yes. Zhang Feng and the others did not refuse. Then, Qin Shujian looked in the direction of Mount Liang City, and his divine will had already sent a message. Not long after, in the direction of Mount Liang City, Su Zhan and two others flew over. When the three of them landed in front of Qin Shujian, they immediately bowed and saluted. Greetings, Qin Emperor. You may dispense with the formalities. Qin Shujian nodded slightly, and then his gaze swept past the three of them. These three people were the helpers he had found this time to build the human emperor's palace. They were also the only three blacksmiths in the eastern continent, excluding himself. Imperial astronomer Su Zhan. 9 palaces sect Ling Huayu. Lotus Glory sect Chu Shi. Except for Ling Huayu, who was a beautiful woman, the other two were old men. For this, Qin Shujian was also secretly wondering if all women were born with an innate desire for beauty. Among the older female cultivators he had seen, Fang Yilan seemed to be the only one who was old. No matter how old the others were, they would at most appear as young women. It was just that he was not interested in these things. Then, Qin Shujian opened the entrance to the Qian Yuan realm and walked in first. At the same time, the others looked at each other and went in at the same time. The entrance was in mid-air. If they wanted to enter, they had to fly in the air. There were also many disciples in the main sect who had not reached the airborne realm. For this reason, Zhang Feng and the other elders had to take action and bring these people in, just as they entered the Qian Yuan realm. Except for Jiang Feng and Su Zhan, who were wearing a black robe, who did not feel anything. The others, they were all a little absent-minded from the extremely dense spirit qi. Hiss, what dense spirit qi? This kind of spirit chi is more than 10 times denser than the main sect of the Lotus Glory sect. If I can cultivate here, I will definitely make rapid progress. Lotus Glory sect Chu Shur was also amazed. He thought that the spirit chi of his Lotus Glory sect was already dense enough. But now he realized. It turned out that he was just a frog in a well. The spirit chi of the Lotus Glory sect. Compared to the spirit chi in front of him, it was not on the same level at all. At this moment, Su Zhan looked up at the sky and happened to see the long river of rules that pierced through the sky. His originally slightly calm expression. He also became shocked. The long river of rules. This is the long river of rules that is completely independent of the mother river of rules. Su Zhan looked at the long river of rules with a look of disbelief on his face. He could accept the dense spirit chi, but there was a long river of rules here. But it was hard to believe. Immediately after, Su Zhan looked at Qin Shujian with a flushed face and asked urgently, "May I ask, is the long river of rules in the sky an ownerless long river of rules?" "That's right." Qin Shujian nodded slightly and said calmly, "However, that's not the complete long river of rules. It's only half of it. Now, it's sealed here by Bin Huang, waiting for the fated one in the future. Half of the long river of rules." Su Zhan's excited expression calmed down a little, and then it became intense again. Even if it was half of the long river of rules, that was still the long river of rules. If he could master that half of the long river of rules, he was not sure if he could become an immortal on the spot, but at least he was sure that his strength would definitely soar to a terrifying level. Su Zhan really wanted to tell Qin Shujian. He was the fated one. P.S. This chapter was written with a headache. If there are any mistakes, please point it out. I will immediately change it when I see it. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.